Welcome, everyone, to the draft along with me, Pom. Hope we're all doing well. Oh, we're doing well. We're going to follow this together as a team. I can't wait, Eva, Ryan and Mel. Big Aidy's in the chat, mate of mine. G'day to you, mate. Thank you very much, Andy. Kind words. Me too, Colin. Me too. So, obviously, I expect to see a plethora of fans. We're going to cover everyone. We're expected to see 22 picks plus the matches. So we're probably going to be around for a couple of hours, probably 26, maybe more. You never know. But should be entertaining. If you've got any draft questions, get them in. I've seen that. Kai, g'day to you, mate. I'm going to check Kai out as well. He does draft content and super coach. Good lad. Good friend of mine as well. Good lad. I like Kai. There is a bit of news for us to ascertain as we wait for picks to incur. But we've got Cal Toomey reporting a few trades that do affect the mid-tiers, the 20s. So reports are Melbourne's 42. He's going to St Kilda for future third. Saints are going to send 40 and 42 to Gold Coast for 27. And 24 for one of Brisbane's picks in the 30s. And Freo getting 38 for a third rounder. So that should be interesting. G'day. How you doing? G'day, Brandon. He hasn't even started yet, Julius, mate. G'day. How you doing, Jay? I hope we get Lance Collard too. So it'll be 22 plus the bid matches. So let's just say 28 tonight. Let's say 28 tonight. And we'll be pleasantly surprised. Good evening, Darren. How you doing? Good day. I love it as well, Tasmos. Brandon's in chat. Who we getting? If we walk away with Ashton Moore, I'll be happy. I'll cry if we get Lance Collard because I do like him. I agree with Agresta. I think Carlton just need best available. There is no need, really, at all. Lou, to answer your question, around Carlton's third pick, which will be after Ports, that will be in its late 50s, 60s. So, ergo, you're probably not worth paying the minimum wage on the salary cap. You're better taking the rookie contract and having part of it off it because they are definitely slow burns. We will do indeed, Davey. G'day. And to Lemon Pop. Tell her again. Thank you very much for the wonderful animations you did. I'm good, Lachlan. How are you, bruv? So we're going to try and be informative today. We're not going to be like the AFL. With their weird and wonderful thing. We're going to be a bit more into it. So we're going to take you through the players. We'll talk about the ramifications of what that looks like. I'm going to see how I can multi-screen this so I don't have to look at myself. There we are. That makes it a little bit easier. So, yeah, we'll have a bit of fun tonight, I think. And we'll try and get stuck into the picks. So, as you can see on the screen, you should see we're going to have a live updated draft board. You've got my power rankings. So, for what it's worth, that's the way that I see them. So, we can have a little bit on. We may be getting some guests, mate. We will be. Harley Reid will go pick one. I've got a feeling he will. I can't see unless North give up 2 and 3. I think Harley Reid enters and joins the Eagles and becomes their franchise player. So, yeah, chills. We'll try and get some people. I've got a couple of people who are interested, whether they show up or not a bit later on to assess the draft. Who cares? G'day, Matthew. Oh, you're right, Ben, mate. Benny, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. I'm glad you are watching me. My big head on a big TV. So that'll be interesting. But, I mean, we expect to see the first 3 picks in that order, really. We expect to see Harley Reid. Jed Walter will be bid by North, we hope. Interesting that Gold Coast are trading their picks in their 20s away, which would indicate some of our later picks, some of them bids are going to come later. So that will be interesting, I think. That's going to be one to watch for me, because that does indicate that they don't really believe they're going to be early, which will be interesting. It's always interesting. You know what I mean? Pommy brother, let's say Charlie Edwards, Lance Collard, Lowell, Moore, Simpson. Edwards, in which order would you take them? Collard 1. Collard 1. 2, Mitch Edwards. For my preference, 3 more, 4 Edwards, Charlie Edwards, 5 Lowell. That's my feeling. Good evening, Malk. How you doing, mate? It was great news. Shows the green is a dead giveaway. What green? What green? Hey, I'm happy. Thanks, Ben. Who do you think the Lions traded up for? I'm hoping for Archer Reed. That's probably a very good shout. Archer Reed would definitely be around there, I reckon. I reckon that's probably a great shout. I do think it'll be a taller player, is my gut. And I'd say that Archer Reed seems to have slid in the last couple of days. Do you know what I mean? Just about a couple of days. Jack Callahan, we'll probably see him tomorrow, I'd imagine. It would be quite funny. He's not there the first day. It has happened before, that being said. But that'll be interesting. We can do that, definitely. What I was going to do is on Wednesday, we'll do a show and we'll go through everything and we'll pick on me a bit. We'll pick on me. I don't mind being picked. Hey, Jaden, that's the spirit. If you go into it with that spirit, mate, you'll never be disappointed. I rate that, Jaden. He's been promoted from the rookie list, so he's on the senior contract now. G'day, mate. How you doing? It is, mate, isn't it? It is. Yeah, I agree, Kai. It's a bit more points, but I do feel the noise on the ground is some of these picks are going to come in later. I was speaking to a journo today, a mate of mine, who was saying that they believe that the first bid on Ethan Reed isn't going to come in the top 10, which I think will be interesting. You never know, Max. I hope you're doing well, Max, mate. Good to see your face around here. Cam Poston and Jaron Pickett. Fuck me. It might be tomorrow. If they get picked up tomorrow, Jesus, we're going to be talking about it. Hey, I would love a little bit of Mitch Edwards. He is my boy. I'm very well, Reed. How are you, my Adelaide friend? Well, I'm interested about Adelaide's picks. I think the 2 teams I'm really excited for, apart from my own, Adelaide, and I'm really intrigued to see what North do with 2 and 3. We know I've been on the Dan Curtin train. I went very early, and it is. Lockie Jack, it's so weird doing this for so long with Carlton. I'm usually in the real crux of the exciting picks, and I've had to be a bit more creative this year, which is weird because usually it's kind of easy. So that's good. It's going to be really intriguing. We do indeed. So what I'll do is I'll take you through it. So if there was no bid matches, this is night 1. So night 1 should be the first 22 picks. Effectively, that's the first round. We'll stop here, right? However, there'll be a few bids. So we've got a few guys here that will be bid on that are subject to it. So anything in red and yellow. So this guy, and then you've got Jordan Croft, Will McCabe. These are all potential first rounders. So we should see a bit more. So 22 plus the bid matches. Let's say 4 to be conservative. 22 plus 4 is 26. So 26 picks, roughly, night 1. And then they'll do the rest tomorrow. And then Wednesday about lunch, late lunch, afternoon tea time. They'll do the rookie pick, which usually takes about 5 seconds because everyone just smashes that one out and there's no TV revenue. So Wednesday evening, we'll do a full recap. I just answered that one. Good. Yeah, usually we're done in about 25 minutes. So that's going to be interesting. Could the Bombers trade a future first to Stag Duursma? Interesting. I think Essendon will do something. I really do. I don't think 9 and a future first would get 3, just with the people looking at 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see Essendon maybe go into the second with a later pick. G'day, Cooper. How you doing, mate? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hey, how good's that, Kai? Hey, I'm a big fan of Ashton. He's my boy. He's my boy. I do like it. I am a little bit. I was cheering Australia on, so you don't often see Pom cheering Australia on, but this Pom does. So I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. Yeah, actually 22. So Cleary probably is in that. 29. Yeah, probably gonna get. We're gonna have a bit of entertainment. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Tired. This mum's taking it out of me. Thanks for the entertainment. My pleasure, Sapphire. Thank you for the support, mate. More importantly, live trades. I'm really intrigued to see what Geelong do. I still have a sneaky feeling that I think Geelong may trade down. I really do. I think, especially if Curtin gets past 4, I reckon they'll start jumping down because I think that's going to fuck the draft order massively. And it's going to be who bites. A bit like the Robertson one. If you remember Devon Robertson, he was scheduled to go about 16 a couple of years ago. He didn't ever get picked up. And that kind of invoked a few little bits of madness towards the end. Dodoro is hard to work out. To be fair, Ryan and Mel, if we're doing this properly, Jed Walters should go pick 1. If we're doing this properly, he should do. Because why West Coast, when North have got all them concessions, would try and help anyone out around them is just beyond me. So my first 2 picks would be Jed Walter and Ethan Reid. But you've also got to remember they get that NAB fund. I'm not a big fan of it, Chills. I understand it, though. I do understand it from the AFL perspective. For me, I think we would be better off trying to find a way of not having 30 picks in round 1. You see, Ash Devers, I don't know if you watched the content I did with Daz. I picked Nick Watson. I actually, now I'm on the different types of players, obviously, right? Different types of players. But I would say Nick Watson, in my opinion, I would rather have Nick Watson on my list than Zane Duursma. However, with your mob, Hawthorn, if you can get Zane Duursma and Nick Watson, that's a huge plus. But I've got him high on my power rankings, and that's more for me because of the hype around him. In my honest opinion, I don't have him in ahead of Dan Curtin. And I'll tell you for why, right? You find Zane Duursma in every draft. You don't find Daniel Curtin, and whoever gets Daniel Curtin has won this draft. Because, and this is my explanation, so stay with me. No matter what stat you're good at in the AFL, whether it's goals kicked, whether it's defended, whether it's contested ball, uncontested ball, meters gained, the one everyone focuses on is scores from transition. And Dan Curtin is the secret of that. So for me, I have him very valuable in this draft. Very. Justin Street, Colby McKercher has to go with your first pick for me. He is, I think it's really hard to argue, really hard to go against it, but number one is Harley Reid for talent. But for me, I think when the building blocks of a list, right, are obviously key forward, key defender. Yeah? Key forward and key defender. I think that's obvious. I think the most important midfielder is Colby McKercher. Like a Sam Walsh, like all the great midfielders that are ball accumulators that allow the other players to do what they want. Jackson McRae, right, at Doggies, he wins a lot of the ball and then gives it to Bon, which I think is so important. Tom Liberatore did that really well. So for me, I think that is the most key ingredient. And I think there is a great argument at pick one. Do you take Colby McKercher? I would be. They're the only two players. Pick one, I would be between. Do I get my X Factor star or do I get my guy that is going to be my solid rock for 10 years? Right? And that is a tough question because Harley Reid is that good. Shannon, good day to you, mate. You'd hope, wouldn't you? I agree with you, Travis. For me, I really think that if it's Colby and Curtin, they win the draft. Colby and Curtin, I think they win the draft. I really do. For Carlton, Harley Reid, for us, if I had pick one, it would be again Harley Reid. If I was Hawthorn, Harley Reid. If I was North, Colby McKercher. I think they've got the X Factor talent on their list. I don't think they've got the 30 disposal guy week in, week out to support LDU's hard work. So that's it. I could see North putting in a bid for Ethan. And I think that would piss people off. Slider. You know who I think is grossly underrated? I think the obvious one, if it happens, is Dan Curtin. For me, I think he's top four talent. I think the guy that is the big slider for me is Collard. And I'll tell you for why. I think he's reverse some other players in this draft. Because his back end of the year has been incredible, right? His junior year was incredible. And Mitch Edwards is the other one, right? Mitch Edwards, if you remember last year, right, there was Jackson Broadbent, who was regarded as one of the best rooks in the league by the AFL in the juniors. Mitch Edwards knocked him out as seniors at Peel Thunder, the senior junior side. He's played Waffle reserves against men and been dominant. So for me, I feel like Mitch Edwards is grossly underrated in this draft. So much so. And I'm not too sure why, to be honest. I don't see it. I love Harry Di Matteo. I think a dual sportsman shows that he's obviously got an eye for detail. I think one thing about him as well is, I think Kinnear today said something really interesting. Kyle like this. He said that character is more important and equal to what's the word I'm looking for? Is equal to talent, right? And projection of where you go. And I think Di Matteo is that kind of person that comes in, and I think he helps also your group because he's such a positive character. If you hear him speak, such a positive character, all the reports are he's a super positive lad. I think that's really important when you're building a list as well. And that just goes as well with his intent, his ability to snag, but also his defensive pressure, which is very important because a lot of forwards in these drafts, they don't worry about their defensive efforts in the forward line. They're trying to kick goals and get in the papers. And that's why Zane Duursma's where he is, right? So for me, I think it's incredibly important. It's an understated part of this building. G'day, Aaron. How you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm a big fan of Curtin. Luke, does Carlton trade a future first? No. I don't really see anyone in the top 18 that I ultimately care enough about. Nate Caddy's one, but I also look at the draft next year and I feel like the pick next year is going to be a lot more valuable than it is now. On the day. Do you know what I mean? As it gets build up to draft. I feel like we can get a lot more for it, command a lot more for it in 12 months than we can now. And I think the dream scenario for me with Carlton is we use that first and a future second and get into the top 5. Do you know what I mean? Top 10. And do what Western Bulldogs did. And have 2 picks because of obviously the bid match their young player. Where can you watch the draft? It's on KO, it's on Fox Footy, and I believe it is on the AFL app. But someone might have to check that. Someone will have to check that. G'day, Dabo. How you doing, son? Owen. If Nick Watson's there at your pick, or Curtin, Jesus Christ, you have got kissed, mate. I hope for your sake, Owen, I can embrace your excitement. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it doesn't really worry me because I'm chilled. Do you know what I mean? I'm not till the end. Pies, Cobb. Good day to you, Kobe. You hope to get Logan Morris. I agree with you, mate. Logan Morris would be a great little pickup for you. I really like Archer Reed, though. But you know what? I don't know if you watched the Swoop Loop video I did. My big thing about Logan was he's what your guys are used to as a forward. You know, the more undersized forward, highly mobile, versus the true tall forward. So I could see the Logan Morris being more appealing in your list makeup. Archer Reed, though, I'm a big hype on. I really like Archer Reed. I think he's done all the right things. And I'm looking forward to him. Leg Dog! Let me know if you want to come on, Leg Dog. I'll find a space for you. So the first pick should be around 7 p.m. So that's Eastern. It's already 6 o'clock Eastern. Big fan of him. Big fan of him. Looking forward to the principal's address before the picks get underway. Wouldn't he probably a couple 3 or 4 centimeters, but I wouldn't say he's going to be like a giant. Do you know what I mean? He's probably going to go in at best at the Kerno height, which I don't mind because they're all getting like that. Yeah, thanks, Dabo, mate. Oh, thank you, Brandon. Spot on, Travis. Great analogy. So in about 10 minutes, we should see the first pick. I'd imagine, like Adam says, we're probably going to have 20 minutes speech from Gil or whoever does it. I agree, Double Dummy. How much is it? How much fun is it? Best player. I reckon the best player in this draft, 10 years' time, if you held a gun to my head, Colby McKercher will play the most games. The most decorated player in this draft by personal trophies will be Riley Saunders. Personal trophies. They are 2 bold calls. Dabo, he never really left, did he? He's like, who's that guy off Austin Powers, the franchise? Is it Fat Boys, the pizza and the burger company? He never really left, sir. I agree. He's a very exciting player. That's why I like Ashton, and I'm a big fan of Lance Collard. Southerners and Northerners. I still find it weird that I live in a country of multiple. Big boy! Cheers, George! Big boy! He's like big boy. In some days, he never really left, sir. Good God, he's back! They have done. I like James Leake, just quietly. You know what? I'm going to really enjoy it if Dan Curtin goes to North. If the first 2 picks are Colby McKercher and Dan Curtin, I might retire from this because I was following Cal Toomey very closely and he was so against it. And then he bought into it about 2 weeks after I did it. I'm claiming it. I reckon it'll be close. You know what? I'm going to say Ashton Moore will have as good a career as Eddie Betts. He'll be a fan favourite as well. A lot of harsh things have been said about Ashton too. Harley Reid will be very good. I just feel, and this is my thing, when you go as that type of player to pick one, you're playing for a shit team. Do you know what I mean? So this is my argument about Zane Duursma to North, right? He's going to be horrible because they can't get the ball front and centre, right? They're better off building from the back and then next year going after a key forward or a forward to help Larkey. I think you can quite easily manufacture that and get the back line right. And I'll use Jacob Wheaton as an example. Jacob Wheaton, one of the big things that they used to talk about him was his one-on-one defending. Would it work in the AFL? He had 3 years of getting peppered, and then his skill, which was kicking, right, came in when Carlton got better. That's what Dan Curtin will do. You know what I mean? That's what Dan Curtin will do. So for me, it's a lot more logical pick. He was top 10, Kobe. I think development of his game. He had a couple of little knocks as well, but I think development of his game. I feel like you could maybe say he's guilty of being a one-trick pony of kicking goals, which goes against players in the draft, unless you're Zane Duursma because you're an awkward size and your brother plays in the league. I would be interested to see where Zane Duursma would rank if he was called Zane Colton. Luke Sinden, Carlton's first pick, Ashton Moore, I think. I don't think so, down under universe. Do you know what I mean? But them type of players like Ashton Moore, because they're just goal kickers, they're just forward pockets who are snagging. I think people overlook them. But if I talk about my team, Carlton, I'd say what we need is a small forward that kicks 30 goals a year. I don't care about defending, right? So we've got a lot of them players that produce defense, probably at the expense of goals. I think all the top teams, though, have a forward who kicks snags. Cyril Rioli. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't exactly a great defender. Kick snags, though, did he? Didn't he? You know what I mean? I like that, Kobe. Got a bit of Ash Johnson about a bit of mongrel. I think what's amazing about Ashton is he's that wonderful player that can play a bit taller, but also play a bit smaller, which I think is so important in the league. Yeah, spot on, Reed. Yeah, mate. Left and right packer. I mean, he'd be the best kick at Carlton left-footed and right-footed. I do love the Coates Talent League, mate. I try and get down and see as much as I can. Try and, as you can see, I watch an awful lot of it. I am praying for Lance Collard, but very happy with Ashton. I really like Lance Collard, though. I really do. And I think he is a very underrated player. Yeah, he's probably the most relaxed I've been, David. Who do I think the Hawks will pick? Okay, I've been a big fan of the Hawks, so you're asking the right person, Tix. I would love you to get Zane Duursma. I would love you to get Zane Duursma. Or Nick Watson. I think they're the two missing pieces for that list. I'll say this. Zane Duursma learning off the best player, I think, who's ever played the role, Jack Gunston, will be exciting. I'd love you to get Colby McKercher, but I think your midfield is solid, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Good point, Luca. He's around that build. I think the wonderful thing about him, though, is the top teams. Do you know what I mean? The top teams play that taller player in the pocket, which Ashton can do year one. And it becomes an additional marking asset. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is very good. Hawks are getting him. He's nominated. So you'll get 2 picks here. And you'll also remember there's Cal Shadir as well. And by reports, Chew Jiaff, like in our mock draft, is going to end there. Pick 2, Colby McElhinney. If I was picking, Dan Curtin would be pick 3. And I think that could be the first mistake of the draft if they buy the Zane Duursma hype. But you never know, dear. Pie should take more just to annoy me. I hope not. Magpie Mania, I love it, mate. You're doing well, though. Double dummy, that's not how it works. What did double dummy say? Did I miss his comment? You never know. Hey, you never know. The Stewson, you want more Simpson, Edwards. Hey, it's the problem with the draft. You fall in love with these players. Who will play right away? Ashton could play year 1. Around Carlton's pigs, Ashton could play. Lance Collard 100% if he's there. I'm waiting for the stream to start. Let's see if there's any trades gone through. Oh, so we've got news that Nate Caddy has been linked to a lot of players. Hawthorn are after pick 7. If we didn't get Ginnivan, I'd want Watson. I think it'd be good to have both. Pick 24's gone to them. How many goals do I think Jed Walter will kick? I think he'll take a while to get going. 19. Nathan, good day to you, mate. Darcy Wilson, very complete player. Very underrated as well. He'll probably go crazy, won't he, Matt? He's got a history. See, for me, 1000% Curtin, though. Like, it actually gets me annoyed as well, because I understand Zane Duursma's good, but I think from a list manager's perspective, you don't want to finish bottom 4 again. Right? So that means Zane Duursma's are all over the draft in the later picks. So in my opinion, you don't wait for it unless you've got everything else sorted. And I just don't think they've got everything else sorted, North. I feel a backman of Curtin's ilk is brilliant. Like, and my reservation on Ben Mackay is I don't think he's an intercept genius. I think he's just a defender, right? So then I think that's probably a good thing he's gone. But the Gold Coast Academy, it's, you know what? The wonderful thing about Gold Coast Academy is I could see this happening. I mentioned it a couple of years ago. I really did feel like one day we're going to have it where they probably have like 4 of the best players in the draft. And it's happened, right? And it just makes me laugh that it's happened now. Right? In a draft where everyone is. Who would I say Dan Curtin's like? You know who I think Dan Curtin will be like? Sam Taylor. Colin, I love it. Thank you, mate. Hey, mate. Full-time job, bruv. Keeping me in check. Is that an actual pick selection or is that just the advert? Oh, I can minimize that. How good is that? Who do I think you guys will take? Pick 7, Melbourne. Well, let's try and work it out. We reckon Harley Reid will be gone, Jed Walter will be gone, Colby McElhinney will be gone, Zane Duursma will be gone, Dan Curtin, Ethan Reid will be gone, and Nick Watson. Oh, God, that'd be tough. I reckon you would be... Oh, I reckon that's... If they were all gone, right? If they were all gone, Melbourne have got pick 7. I feel like you've got to then start. Do you go Riley Sanders? Like, I think you'd be hoping Nick Watson slides, but I think then Riley Sanders would be the man, because I think Riley Sanders is going to go to. I think he'll be the first flag winner on this list in the top 10. It's Pom's big call. Don't believe the hype, mate. Hey, be careful with it. Thank you, Andrew. I hope COVID's treating you well, mate. Sending my love and the healing spirits. We go to 22 plus bid matches, so that's 28. We'll be here about an hour and a bit, maybe longer. Are these all confirmed, Magpie? I've got them ready to go. I'm just waiting for them to be confirmed. But cheers, mate. Keep doing that. That really helps. If you, because I've got 800 screens open here. Like, I feel like someone's pressed the button saying that we're going DEFCON 4. Kobe, you know what I think's interesting about him? I think he's going to have a little bit of a Cam Rayner situation if he went anywhere but Eagles, because I think Eagles are a very run club, well-run club genuinely. So I think they will expect the expectation. But I think he'd be very good. But the problem is with them type of players, when you're good, he's good. So my issue with all the hype around Harley is everyone's expecting Harley to come in and be Dustin Martin in a final 2017 every game. But it's not. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a very good player, though, but they need other things as well. If you wanted a superstar from year one, press Control R, Demon Fat. I did that, and it worked, Demon Fan Cat. Timmy tweeted it. Yeah, I saw the tweet. I was just waiting to see, because I know sometimes KO forgets it. Cooper Simpson. Well, Cooper Simpson is my mate in this draft, and I really hope he comes to Carlton. I really do hope he comes. Yeah, but Kobe, that's what they expect, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They expect him to be Dustin Martin 2017 in an elimination final every game. And it fucking irritates me. Really annoys me, right? Because I'm like, he's an 18-year-old boy who's a very good footballer. You know what I mean? A very good footballer. So let's just get him in there. Okay, so pick one has the most games. 160 games on average. The worst being pick 6 outside of the top 30. Only 68 games from that one. The most successful. I've got this wrote down. I believe. I'm pretty sure the most picks is, I think it's pick 3 that has the most ones. I can't remember. I have to check that out for you later. Josh, cheers, mate. Hopefully not. I love George Stevens. He's one of my favorites. I love the bigger body. I think he would be. I think he'd be great pickup late 20s, mid 20s. Oh, cheese expertise, mate. I love a bit of cheese. Who's your mate? Spot on. But you see, I just feel sorry for him because people forget they're going to a rubbish club. Do you know what I mean? And that's what really irritates me about it. Like, I used to feel sorry for draftees coming to Carlton, and I'd be like, we're shit. Like, you could put prime Gary Ablett Jr. in the 2018 Carlton side, and we'd make him look garbage. He'd probably be delisted. And I just feel like his position, Dustin Martin, like I always say this, when people link to Dustin Martin, I remember the Cam Rayner. Do you remember the Cam Rayner draft when he went pick 1 and everyone was saying he was Dustin Martin just after his 2017 fucking finals year? And I remember saying, do you remember Dustin Martin when he was drafted? People were saying he was a bust because they were rubbish and they couldn't get the ball to Dustin Martin. Imagine, just imagine. I really like Cadman though, Kobe. I'm a big fan. Hey, that's awesome, Demon Fan Cat. I'm really glad. I heard speak on the radio. George, yeah, his brother plays for the Blues VFL team. I haven't got my phone on me, so I can't check the AFL app, but I believe it's on the AFL app. Whited, mate. Hopefully that's there. There's only one. Yeah, it annoys me. I don't like player comparisons. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of it. I try and avoid doing the player comparisons because I feel like people take you literally. Do you know what I mean? They take you literally when, like, I've said Dan Curtin's similar to Sam Taylor. What I mean by that, good defensively, very strong in the air, very good at intercepting. Could be that level. Someone out there will have taken it and gone, oh, Sam Taylor's playing fullback. So these picks are still the same. Yeah. Good. I don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't think so, Luca. I like Lua, man. Got good pace on him, good vision. What I do like about Luau, and it hasn't been talked about enough, is I'm a big fan of NGA players that are buyable. I think his running, carry and stuff is everything that we need in the AFL. So I think he's incredibly important. I haven't, mate. Unfortunately, I haven't. I'm sure we'll find out. No, we're still waiting. They are in the rooms now, though. I do love a bit of cricket. Always a risk asking upon about cricket, though, in a room full of Australians. Big Sheasel's on the screen. Yeah, I haven't got that far yet. I really hate the game. I hope the game gets better. Big fan of George Stevens. I did answer that to someone else. So, yeah, George Stevens, big body. I like the fact I see a lot of George Hewitt in George Stevens. I love it, Carl. Thank you very much for the support, mate. I think Mitch Edwards, for me, would be the biggest slider from where I am. I'm a Carlton fan. Demon Fan Cat. Big fan of Jed Walter. Very big fan. I'm a big fan of Ethan as well. It's a shame that these two aren't in it. My issue with Ethan Reid is I feel like Mitch Edwards is the best ruckman in the draft. I think Ethan Reid's the best rounded ruckman. Jed Walter, I think, is a big shame because I feel like if he was a free-for-all, he would be pick one. Cheers, Bugsbell, mate. Great to have you here, my friend. Right. We've surely got a pick, haven't we? Because it's meant to start at 7. Any updates, chat, on them pick swaps? Do you think they should have the countdown clock? First pick 7:15. All right. Well, let's do some recon. See if we've got these. I can't wait. Spot on. I think you can. I think on the AFL app, download it on your phone. Well, he's got what? The pick is linked to be what? The mid-20s, wasn't it? From memory? St Kilda? The St Kilda pick was the mid-20s pick. So who would Sauce be looking at? I mean, it was interesting that they suggested they wanted more speed and outside run, when I'd argue that St Kilda's list is a shitload of outside run that's trying to be a midfielder. But I reckon that, you know who I think? I think Ari Schoenmaker is definitely one player I think they would look at. But I also think that I could see them looking at Chu Giaf and Archie Roberts. They love it. It's quality, though. I love the mullet. Verbal diet, it's awesome. You know what I think they should have in the draft? I really do think that they should have some ex-players that were drafted later and stuff like that, so we could hear what it's like. I'm with you, Luca. I would go like 1, 2, and 3 on Reid and Walter and Rogers, but I don't mind that, though. I could see Watson sliding back. I could see Morris going up as well, because I think people have forgotten that everyone likes a mid-sized key forward. G'day, Lucinda. I think the best player outside of the top 10 is Mitch Edwards. I've been stand on that. But if Collard goes where he is, if Collard goes more than 22, we are looking at the biggest bargain probably in the history of the AFL draft. G'day, how you doing? How will Swans go in 2024? Bold call, top 4. I agree. I just think you should have someone that's been linked to be like top 20 in slid, so we know what it's like. You see, if they're both there, I'd take Collard, even though I love Ashton, because I'd never expected Collard to be there. Well, it's 7:15. Could be. I've seen some people, though, have them like outside the 8 or talking about it. Kai, I think they'll be very good. I think top 4. I will be. Don't worry. I always get involved in that. Yeah, by my watch, it's 7:15. They'll probably do a 30-minute draft ad after every freaking pick. Like, at least put the trades through. I've got a feeling that next year that they'll do that. We'll do a dogs and slide in before the Camparellis to try and trade our first and the future first for a top 5 pick. Do you know what I mean? Have we got any confirmation on these picks yet? It's quality, isn't it? You know what annoys me about the draft is they could just get this over and done with, couldn't they? In a day. Yeah, but they could have started Kai. Couldn't they? Like 7-15, they could have said, right, have you got any, like, give us something. Like, it's 7-17. Like, they've had this pick, what, since the bye, presumably. They've been pick 1. Like, 7 months. I agree, Demon Fan Cat. Double dummy, how good would it be if we were at the Marvel now? Beer tents. It'd be sick. Dabo, how good? Well, it was officially starting, Declan. 7-15. Kamikaze Kid nailed it. 7-15 start. How long will it... Well, I mean, the real question is, how long will it take to end? That's the one that you want to be asking yourself. We could be here all day, mate. All day. This could be... Has anyone seen Cardman's stream? Do you know what I mean? Where he's playing till he wins. Yeah, I just feel like there's more we could do with it. I'm with you, Colin. I just feel like there's more that we could do with it. If you're going to delay this, you know what? I wouldn't mind these delays if right now Cal Toomey was speaking to Bendigo Pioneers coach, talking about Hardy Reid, how we'll fit in the AFL system and all that malarkey. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to, I'm watching a fishing ad. Great. Cool. I don't even think I'm watching a fishing ad. I think it's a pilot ad. So what? That's Viagra. The only thing that's hard around here is the wait. Being inundated with offers for pick 1. What? So we're buying them time. They get 5 minutes. Oh, double dummy. Fucking Jesus. Can you imagine if North bid on all the academy players with their pick 2? Have about a 6-hour meet. It's the teams they play for, their team colours. It helps me out. So Bendigo Pioneers, Gold Coast Suns Academy, Tassie Devils, do you know what I mean? Gippsland Power. Just helps my eye. It's just nerd things. Nerd things. Says, who knows? Who knows? AFL's probably made some weird rule that we don't start until they're ready. Thank you very much, Bugs Bell. You're very kind. I really hope this is Harley Reid so we can talk about him a little bit because I feel like we haven't talked about him all year. Here he is! Get a pick! Oh, yeah. Adam, you know this is going to be fucking hours. Thank you very much, Stephen. Just the first 22 plus matches. I will do, Lucinda, I promise. Oh, my God. Why? Why is Andrew telling us about how many nominations we've had? Oh. This should have been done at 7. You know it, Kamikaze. Why do we have to have like a 10-minute thing? That girl is me. You see, I wouldn't mind if this started at 7. And there's also, I think, is it 50K from NAB? Hey, we're on the clock. Well, they want outside run, but I've got a feeling that if Schoenmaker is there, they'll take him. Now it's 5, mate. And then they get another, it's another 5, isn't it, if there's a bid match? But what annoys me about this is they do not need 5 minutes. 213 people watching as well. Thank you very much as well. I love you all. Fox, KR, and the AFL app. How are they deliberating over this? Come on, boys, take Harley Reid. I can't believe they're taking full 5. I'd love it if they did the 2 and 3 deal, but I just don't think North will do it. Spot on. Double dummy. We'll try and arrange something in the new year, I think. Let's see what these trades are. Trade. So what's that? St Kilda have got pick 42. So it looks like St Kilda have got 42, so let's change that. There we are. That's done. You can indeed. Live trading. So they're only announced now. Why is it taking so long to read Harley names? So is that Kai? Is that St Kilda? So St Kilda now have 27. Is that correct? So by my calculations, so Harley Reid goes up. Well, Harley Reid, Bendigo's Pioneers, great year this year as well. Harley Reid, an absolute phenomenal footballer who is believe the hype, I suppose. Believe the hype. He is a very good footballer, playing across that midfield forward line, damaging by Boo. His impact per possession is absolutely insane as well, and it's a great get up for them. So it should be interesting how he goes, but he finds his home. They've done the right thing. Everyone is happy. And so are we, because we now get to stop talking about him and we now get to see him. That's awesome. He's going to have a tough time. It's going to be a long, long time. So welcome. And just while all this hype is going on, just remember that they are on the clock, North. So Harley Reid is there. So this should be quite exciting now. Harley Reid is there. So Saints trade 27 and 40. Oh, I'll sort that out in a minute. Get your AFL app up. So happy for him, though. Can you imagine the hype as well for him? Like, that must be such a good feeling. Do you know what I mean? Such a good feeling to finally be there and the hype's over with and everyone, like, you know, now can shut up about you a little bit and you're in the zone. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty good, I feel. And I'm looking forward to seeing Harley. He'll do well. It's going to be tough for him, but he'll do well. He'll do well there, and I'm looking forward to it. So Gold Coast, right, let's have a look at this. So, right, St Kilda 42, they on trade that to Gold Coast. And Gold Coast have got 30. So that trade was Gold Coast 30, 51, 54, and 65. And Brisbane got 24. There we are. Case of beer for Lob. They will, yeah. We will wrap the day up. Cheers, Kai. You are a sex god, my friend. Pig 2 is in. So Colby McKercher, as we expected, is pick 2. Tasmanian superstar, played his football though this year, mainly up in Tasmania, but was a standout when he came over here and played in the state carnivals. Incredible line breaking speed, incredible IQ as well. It has to be said, this guy's IQ is insane. Can play outside and inside, proficient at both. An absolute superstar in every sense of the word. And in my opinion, a very, very good player. Gold Coast definitely getting a gift. Spot on. I'm good. I'm good. Probably. I mean, that's the problem, because the money and the prestige, and they get a medal, and a street named after you. Do you know what I mean? Bit unexciting, isn't it? You would have thought you would have taken your pick 3 now just to throw everyone. Red Foo. But Colby McKercher, for me, a great pick. And if they pick Dan Curtin now, I'm going to be a smug little boy. But this should be good. So if you're any St Kilda fans there, I mean, any Gold Coast fans, who are you waiting for here? We'll definitely arrange something. It does indeed, Ryan and Mel. But this should be exciting, this. Got to remember as well, Colby McKercher joins a long list of luminaries as well as the Moorish medal winner. Liam Stocker, Nick Graham. They were good players. They do indeed. Real well-spoken kid as well, Colby. Can't wait to see this kid play. I was actually supporting you, Juddy Sports. I can float between the two. I can't believe they're asking a pick 2, do you make butter chicken? You know what annoys me is that North have had 6 months to plan this, right? Because when did we learn about Ben Mackay? It was what? July was the rumours it was 3? So you would pretty much have this done in 10 seconds, wouldn't you? But 2 mids taken, the first 2 picks. Some good players on the board here. We are expecting a bid for Jed Walter. I'm surprised he wasn't picked 2. For me, I feel like he is a perfect intercept defender. And I think that's his future. I feel like it is. I hope it's Dan Curtin here. So the pick is in. Why haven't we been heard about it? Bid pending. Red Foo. There we are. We're going to preempt it, but the bid is in. So Jed Walter, he should have been Lucas, spot on. A little bit later, which it doesn't really affect. Well, it does, really. I'm not going to lie to you guys and girls. I mean, the difference in points here is quite dramatic. It's 1787 to match as opposed to 2014. So quite a lot of difference. But Jed Walter is back to Gold Coast. Incredible young talent, this guy. And if we were looking, this is why I've got Curtin so high. Your taller players are harder. One thing is, very like Harry Mackay in the fact he's got very good defensive coverage as well, works hard at getting in front of his defender, but also can work on the defensive side. Loves running up the wing, incredibly one-on-one. His scoreboard and his ability to hit targets is crazy. And I agree, Lockie Jack. It should have been. Do you know what I mean? This is interesting. I'll adjust. Luckily, we don't have to worry about the Gold Coast one. So tomorrow, I'll do a fresh board. It's a bit hard to do it in the thing. But Jed Walter, incredible player. And he's going to be protected at Gold Coast. They've got some good forwards there to look after him. Players like Levi Casboult's going to protect him. He's going to learn off Ben King. Incredible footballer. And I'd imagine he'll play very early as well. But what a player. It's going to be exciting to see. He is Charlie-like. But yeah, incredible defensive pressure, like I was saying earlier. Like you say, he's leading. He's good. I think you could probably play the free tall system. The coach is going to be an interesting one because I feel like his kicking inside 50 is so potent. Surely, Matt, if they do, it helps everyone out. But be interesting what they do. I can't believe they bid. I'm hoping it's Curtin. This is Pom's big call. I was hot on this. But I'm really excited about seeing Jed Walter into the thing. It's going to be interesting. Double dummy. Spot on, Lucinda. Ben and Harry on the same team. Yeah, Demon Fan Cat. So the Northern Territories, Northern States are protected. How have North not put a bid in? They have had this pick 7 minutes. He does love KPDs. You know what I love about Jed as well is if you hear him speak now, so mature. Such a mature man. Such a mature young man. And I think that's so important. They do, Wazze. We're the last bid, mate. We're the last pick tonight. Unfortunately, Demon Fan Cat, I'm with you. I don't agree with it. But unfortunately, this is the society in which we live in the AFL. Come on, yes, Lou. Get around it. Curtain train. It is indeed Mighty Blues. We will be the last pick tonight. Look at him. Big lad. Big lad. You love it. Do you know what I mean? Love it. But been so impressive. You check the if you check Jed Walter's highlights out, they're pretty impressive. There's a few Gold Coast Academy games as well that he tore it up that are well worth the watch, especially for Queensland as well. The Academy games, they're quite frequent on there, so check them out. Tomorrow morning. Lucinda, we'll be having breakfast together. Oh, I love it when they get Nana involved. You know what? When you watch the American sports do the draft, it's professional versus calamity, isn't it? How long have they got left? They got 30 seconds, boys. Poor Picking. Picky's in. If this name is Dan Curtin, they've won the draft. Zane Dersma. They've gone with it, which means someone gets a bargain with Danny Curtin. Someone gets a bargain with Danny Curtin. But Zane Dersma finds his way to that, I think, the first mistake of the draft. But best of luck to him. Zane Dersma, one of them wonderful, wonderful players that plays that medium-sized role. And he plays it very well, in fairness to him. The brother of the great Xavier Dersma, and obviously they get to chill out together. They're both in Melbourne. What second leading goal kicker in junior football this year? Can pinch it in the midfield as well. He has his moments there, but he's a very astute player, incredibly smart, and the type of player that, although we see a lot in the drafts, it's going to be interesting to see how he does good in the air and good at bringing people in. But Curtin is going to be interesting because, for me, I think they've made a mistake. And this is going to be interesting. It's open slather now. It's open slather for Hawks. And hopefully the Hawks do the right thing now and bid on Ethan Reid. It's going to be interesting, this. But, do you know what I mean? Bagged them in last year. Good natural finisher. Be interesting to see if North trade in. But we'll see. 3 minutes for Hawthorn to take a pick. They've got some wonderful selections here now. Nicky Watson, goal-kicking machine. Danny Curtin, interceptor. Imagine pairing him up with James Sicily. It's going to be very interesting what they do. Or do Hawthorn take money? Take money into Melbourne. Bid here. And they get something. The problem is there isn't 2 picks. But I wonder if Adelaide would put it in. Yeah, Reid, be interesting. Like, did Adelaide go 11 and 15 and put it in? But St. Dersmus there, fair play to him. I don't like it. I think they've made a mistake. And I agree. I think you build from the back first. Be interesting to see if North come back, though, because they have met with him quite a bit. Be interesting to see if Eagles come up. I reckon we'll get a bid. We'll get a trade happening in the next 3. Is that Dad on the beers? Mo money. Hey, you never know. I'd imagine it'd be interesting to see. But good luck to him, North. Let's hope they nail 18 and 19. I reckon that might mean Ollie Murphy maybe bid on now by North at some point. Yeah, spot on, Sad. It's going to be interesting to see. He's one of them games that it's going to be interesting to see how it translates at AFL level. And I feel like I've become a Zane Duursma hater. Maybe I have. But I look at it and I think this draft this year is very small. All right? There isn't many elite talents. And Zane's 190. He's going to go into the senior footy and every man and his dog's that size. Can he still do it? Like, I just find it weird. You got Taron Thomas there, Zerha. I feel like you'd be better off getting Archer Reid if you wanted a help for Larkey or even Logan Morris. But I think that's a high pick. But here's Hawthorn. Hopefully Hawthorn go Danny Curtin. I don't think they need him, though, as much as Nick Watson and players like that. But Curtin would be good. The Wizard joins them as we did on the Phantom Draft with Daz. I was Hawthorn. I took Nick Watson. Nick Watson joins. And for me, the negatives that I said about Zane Duursma, the opposite with Watson. I am a huge, huge fan of Nicky W. The Wizard. This guy here is what you pay for. And Hawthorn have basically had the second coming of a Cyril Rioli up forward who can play in the guts as well. Incredible crummer, the best crummer in the draft. Incredible vision. his ability as well at spinning and getting himself out of trouble is a very, very exciting facet to have. And Hawthorn have got one hell of a player to add to a very young list. It's going to be interesting who goes curtain now. I mean, the Dogs, like, you'd say the Dogs will be looking here at Riley Sanders, Darcy Wilson. Do they need an intercept? It's going to be sexy, isn't it, Seb? Yeah, I agree. Like, and then I'd say Melbourne, like, do they want to go Dan Curtin? I don't think so. I reckon he might end up at GWS, to be honest. Well, I mean, they've got what? Like, May plays that role. It's going to be interesting, but Nick Watson, absolute jet. Great get by Hawthorn. Hawthorn, get down there. Melbourne, it's going to be interesting what Melbourne do. I mean, Melbourne are going to be interesting. I feel like Melbourne might trade. I think that'll be the pick, because I think everyone knows GWS won Curtin. Bugs Val, to assure your partner, there's no porn here. Only when Charlie kicks a goal. Unfortunately, Mighty Blues will be long gone. You see, Matt Gondolfo, I reckon he could go to Geelong. I think Melbourne will be in a position where, do they trade or take him? Because you are in that situation with Danny C that you've got to take him. You've got to take him. So I reckon this will be Sanders. Caleb Windsor probably next. Then that pick. That pick that is after that, do you sell him? I think, you see, Seb, I think this could cause chaos because Himmelberg has come out and said he likes playing that role. So that'll be interesting because that would mean that Himmelberg's playing the role he doesn't want to play. Yeah, you see, this is where I think it is. I think Melbourne or Swan, GWS, is where someone will bite. I love that. Cheers, Kai. But the Dogs are on the clock. And we expect Riley here. It is chaos. It is, isn't it? You don't want to kick it loose into their forward 50. But, I mean, at this stage now, we are at that wonderful position, aren't we? So you would imagine now, Bulldogs on the clock. This is Riley Saunders, and this kid here can play football. And very excited about this one. Someone's phone's gone in that stream. There he is, Riley Sanders. So this guy, Sandy Dragons boy, an absolute quality talent. And see what we said about Colby and what we liked about Colby. This guy can play football. This guy can play outside, inside. He's got a bit about him. A very exciting talent and one that can really, really change a game. And B, learning from probably the best player to play. Best player to go to, best team in the terms of the Dogs, because he's learning off Jackson. So that could be interesting. Incredible inside and out game, very clean. Can handball with both hands as well, which is very important. Incredible player. And Sandy Dragons are good. Probably around the 300 mark, which we've topped today. So thank you, everyone. This is a record. Travis first. What does that mean, Mark? But this is going to be interesting. Now, It's going to be very, very interesting what happens. We love the light medal around these parts. Aaron Norton was at your training. These kids, they're very young, aren't they? Cheers, Quenton. What did these do? If I was a betting man here, I think that the D's at this stage, I think the D's go Caleb Windsor, but I think they listen to offers from Adelaide. Do you know what I mean? I think they listen to offers from Adelaide. They will indeed, Wazze. We love it. Like whiskey. Hey, I love that. I love that, Cooper. Did you get an autograph, buddy? No, I don't think Melbourne will take him. I think Melbourne are sorted in this position. So we've got GWS, Geelong, and Essendon. No says they don't. They have one, but it's not for way later. Do you know what I mean? It's not for way later. So we matched after their 40s. They have this guy here. Harvey Thomas is there, but the one that Charlie McCormack may be a rookie selection for them. No, not yet. Stewson, I mean, they could do. I just don't think they will do. I don't think they will do. I think the best player here is a Caleb Windsor for their list makeup. So a minute left for Melbourne. Would make sense. Like, I feel like you've got to do it now. You got to do it now. But I think we'll see a Windsor coming out at this point now. They've got a minute left. Who takes Curtin? Well, I think it's whoever trades up for him. I think this is going to be our first trade coming up. Pick is in. Yeah, Caleb Windsor, as we said, great pickup for them. Classy outside width for them. Probably the more exciting James Jordan. They've traded him out, but a guy that can play football and has a massive ceiling. The proper modern-day wingman who not only combines his defensive craft, but his speed, his work rate, and he's got one hell of a kick inside 50. And I feel like the thing when you watch Melbourne, they've got a lot of industrious, but they haven't got that top-end talent. So, yeah, they've got to wait. So, this 5 minutes. So, we're now at GWS's pick. So, we know GWS were heavily linked with Danny Curtin. So, you can see he's the best player available as per Pom's board. It's going to be interesting what they do. But Caleb Windsor goes up. Do you know what I mean? Caleb Windsor goes up quite a bit. I love that Demon fan cat. Look after him. Oh, they can do. Yeah, they can do that at any time. As soon as that first pick was on the clock, anyone. So that'll be interesting. Double dummy, he always is. But that's because he may be told. If you notice, his mock draft, an hour, 24 hours before the draft changes. Always think there. Read between the lines. GWS on the clock, but Caleb Windsor, like we say, incredible outside game. incredible speed, real penetrating inside 50, great vision. And he loves that give and go, which if you look at what Melbourne do, I think they've got a lot of industrious players. But I don't think they have that person who can take the game away. They've got Ed Langdon. On the other side, they haven't. So, weird coincidence. A quinky dink. So, GWS on the clock now. 2 minutes 50. But great pick. I'm really glad, Demon Fan Cat. That's really nice to hear. So, look after him. It'll be interesting. James Leake. Be interesting who they go for. I love that, Sandra. But this will be a real good one. So, I mean, the choices here for GWS are interesting. Trade in Adelaide. It'll be late. It'll be either the rookie or one of the 40s, I reckon. Rookie or one of the 40s. Well, I mean, I'd imagine GWS are really looking at Nate Caddy, to be honest. Will he slide there? That's tough. So it looks like Adelaide are on the clock. We'll just wait for confirmation of that trade. But Kayla Windsor, we're looking forward to that. We'd expect Danny Curtin here. I'm waiting to find confirmation of the trade. I'm guessing it involves them picks. It looks like they've got pick 11. You know that. We'll find out what else it was. But you'd imagine now Danny Curtin will come in, so my mate Reed will be happy. Cheers, Juddy Sports. You are an absolute gentleman and a scholar. G'day, Owen. Who did you want, Owen? I can't remember. Danny Curtin, and I can't believe Ethan Reed has slid so late, but this is a great pickup for Adelaide. This hits every need you've ever thought of. And Dan Curtin finds his home to Geelong. To Adelaide. Intercept defender. Ignore the hype about him being a midfielder. This guy is a pure out-and-out intercept defender. He's got speed. He's got aerial skill. He performs in big games. He's got incredible skill and incredible versatility. And he's also got a bit of patience. And suddenly, I think Adelaide Crows are now in a conversation of a top six side. I love it, Seb. It's a big unexpected, but I'm loving this. Massive. This is big. This is big for them. Cheers, Andy, mate. I am really looking forward to this pick. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Dan Curtin does, but this kid here can play football. I tell you what, every top team, mark my words, the biggest mistake in the draft is Dan Curtin by North Melbourne. They'll regret that because every stat, the only stat that matters in AFL football, no matter if you're number one at it, they always look at the transition stat. And he is the secret of that. Tom Doherty spot on. Higher ceiling than Tom Doherty by a long way. Can't wait to see it. G'day, Chris Judd. How you doing, kidder? So I think Geelong now have a really interesting pick here. Now, I linked them with Nate Caddy, right? And I look at that board here. They've got a bid on Ethan Reid. Have to. But, just quietly, a real Geelong player here is Darcy Wilson. But if I was a betting man, I would say it's Nate Caddy. And I think they get their replacement very early for Tom Hawkins very early, who's going to be learning off a player very similar to it. Cheers, Malcolm. How you doing? Jesus, thank you very much. 350 people watching. That's a record. You guys and girls, honestly, are the best. I love you all. G'day, Geordie, mate. Welcome. Hey, they stole it. Yeah, I think it is. Kai, get excited. Hey, double dummy, it's mental. Honestly, Zane Dursma, you get them, you find them every draft. Dan Curtin, mental. G'day, Clinton. Thank you very much. Hey, Maz, how you doing? It's going to be interesting, but for me now, if I was a betting man, Nate Caddy. Thank you very much. Oh, I'll tell you what, let dogs come in. That helps me because I need a wee. Where is Lapdog? Wait, like, my computer's freezing. Well, this should be interesting now because Dan Curtin, honestly, North will regret that trade. 100%, mark my words. G'day, Kate. I wouldn't say he's horrible. My issue is with him. I just feel like you find them all the time. Thank you very much, guys. I just feel like you see them all the time. You see them all the time. Cheers, Brandon. Much love, mate. Thank you for all your support too, mate. But Geelong, have a pick. We expect this to be Nate Caddy. Why is everyone clapping? They haven't picked anyone. Ethan Reid, finally, someone picks on him. So here we are, Ethan Reid. So a complete ruckman here who is literally like every modern day ruckman we have ever seen in the draft. And I'm very excited about seeing this kid play football in the AFL system. They'll match the bid spot on. Oh, thank you, Judy. Spot on, mighty. But this kid here, absolutely brilliant, Reid. For me, the best ruckcraft in the draft is a young gentleman called Mitch Edwards, but this guy is the best complete one. And as we add Let Dog in, Let Dog, can you see me? Here we are. Give me a sec, Let Dog. And I'm just resizing you so you're the same size as me. Leg Dog! Can you hear me? Why can't I hear you, Leg Dog?
All right, can you hear?
There we are. Fucking hell, I just turned my volume up to full blast. You nearly gave me a heart attack, mate.
I think I knocked the cable out last time we were streaming.
That's all right. Well, I mean, Ethan Reid has ended up there. We're just talking about Ethan. Literally the modern day ruckman. We see them 10 a penny, don't we? So, I mean, everyone is becoming like this. He is finally bidded, but in my opinion, 5 picks too late.
Yeah, I was calling for it at pick 2, Pom. So, like, why wouldn't you? There's no reason not to. But, he's finally gone. At least Geelong bids. I've been watching a log, Pom, so I don't need you to go through anything, but I'll just confirm I'm with you. I think absolutely Dan Curtin should have been a North Melbourne selection.
Mate, I can't believe it, but fair play to Adelaide. Nailed the draft. Adelaide have won the draft. We expect Nate Caddy to go here, don't we?
Yes. So They liked Nate Caddy a lot. He was one of their targets. I'm just pulling up my intel from my Geelong insiders. They were into.
He's basically, isn't he? For those watching at home, he's Tom Hawkins.
Yeah, he is. So Geelong, this is from my inside sources at Geelong. Before the draft today, they were going after Sanders, Curtin, or Caddy at this pick. So it would make sense to go Caddy, particularly with that aging forward line, which we've spoken about a lot this offseason.
They probably need more. And I'm going to be chuffed. If Leakey gets to Sydney, my other bold call was Leakey to Sydney. So I got North wrong, but I can't help bad list management. Sydney won't let me down because they're good at list management. So I honestly, I don't want to go on about it. I'm just flabbergasted that they didn't take Curtin. Adelaide, honestly, I had Adelaide about 6th. I actually now put them 5th, 4th.
Yeah, well, I mean, that dude, we were talking about it. They lost Duday. They didn't really bring in a replacement for him. Now they kind of have. So they're looking pretty good. I'm with you. I'm big on them jumping next year. And I don't want to shit talk, by the way, Dursman as a player. Like, we've obviously discussed him in the offseason. I'm a high floor player rather than a high ceiling. He's probably a high ceiling player. And he's fine, and he's going to be a good player for North. But I just think when you look at their midfield and even their forward line, it's glaringly obvious that the back line is probably where they should attack the draft, in my opinion.
What do you think is going to happen next? So do you reckon it's going to be Nate Caddy, and do you reckon they go Connor O'Sullivan? Essendon, do you reckon that they go a key defender, or do you think Darcy Wilson being there?
Looks like we've had a trade. That is absolutely Geelong calling Essendon saying, we're going to take Nate Caddy. What are you giving us? This has to be Caddy. I did say today on Twitter, someone was saying that they wanted Essendon to get Caddy. I said the only way is if you're trading, and it looks like that's happened.
Well, I mean, I'm going to lock this in now. Nate Caddy, Darcy Wilson. So if you go back 3 picks, someone asked me about Geelong. I said Darcy Wilson is a Geelong-type player, but Nate Caddy's there. I reckon that's going to be the 2 picks, unless Geelong trade back again, which they might do.
Which they might. Yeah.
Darcy Wilson, great get if they get that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they trade out of that pick 11, just based on what I've been told by people in the Geelong area.
So they get 11 and 31 for those watching at home.
31 to basically, yeah. Surely this is Caddy. Yeah, there it is.
I used to like Nate Caddy, and now I can't like him anymore.
Now he's dead to me.
Now I have never heard of the guy.
So sad that Nate Caddy's career is already over, isn't it?
Well, I mean, Nate Caddy, he's the modern day forward, that mid-size tall forward that roams higher, incredible conduit of the C word on this show. Not brilliant at bringing in the midfield to the forward line. And to be fair, when I look at Essendon's list, they probably need this player. Was it worth losing a second for him? I don't know. I think that they could have maybe filled a few holes with that, but definitely the best player outside Jed Walter to do this role. Great pickup for them. And Scott's got previous working with them undersized players. I do see a lot of Boomer in this guy.
Is this the is this the Jake Stringer replacement? Is this the forward that can go up the field? Is that what this is the goal of this draft pick is?
Yeah, basically Nate Caddy is Jake Stringer if Jake Stringer was allowed to drive near schools.
That's because Caddy just got out of school.
That's elite dance.
That is
405 people watching. That is a record as Mrs. Pom comes in. Hi, Mrs. Pom.
Hey, Mrs. Pom.
Hi, Mrs. Pom.
And I'm not even watching, so let me open up a stream and add another one.
So obviously, like we say, Nate Caddy, great kid. we know I love the Northern Knights, boys. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy. And you know what? I could see this guy pinch hitting in the midfield as time goes on.
Yeah, I imagine that I'm not listening, but I'm imagining they're probably going to talk about that. I think very
I'm not
much.
listening
I hate the comparing them to players thing, but I think this is going to be Jake Stringer, the theoretical Jake Stringer that actually plays in the midfield and does all right. So what's this Geelong pick going to be? Is this a Darcy Wilson?
I don't really hate him. I just am really disappointed that I put a lot of energy into him all year, and he's dogged me by going to Essendon. I would imagine Geelong now, if I was a betting man, this is Darcy Wilson.
Bid on Jake Rogers, then make the pick. That's what I would do.
Tell you what, if you can hit the like button and give it a square, we love it. Thank you very much, Dabo. Unfortunately, as you know, Dabo, you can't choose your club. Your club chooses you. It's what my pop used to say to me. But yeah, I'd imagine this is Darcy Wilson. I can't see it being Connor O'Sullivan, which again means someone gets an absolute barnstorming deal. But I'm going to make a big call now. This is Pom's big call. If GWS take Connor O'Sullivan, 2024, Himmelberg requests a trade.
Oh, I love a Pommy big take. I love
Pommy's big take because Himmelberg has been so open. He likes playing down the back. If they get a key defender, he ain't playing down the back. And I bet your ass to his barn dance, he puts his hands up and he comes to Melbourne.
I don't mind that bet. I don't mind that bet at all. I think there's a chance they could take Connor O'Sullivan here, but if I was them, I think Wilson, I like what he can do ahead of the ball. I like what he can theoretically do as a midfielder as he develops in the seniors. But I'd be bidding on Jake Rogers just for fun.
I would as well. Matt, I can tell you, because obviously she gets the privilege of watching draft content in real time, Colton Thulstrup. Dodo is a god. Gonna miss him next year when people are doing trades and not just throwing in pick 65 as steak knives. Looking forward to that. But Geelong have officially picked. We are officially halfway, chat. So if you want to do the maths at home, we've been live for 2 hours. Do the maths.
Oh, there it is. Pommy. They've taken the big man.
Isn't it?
It is.
Wow. They've taken it in the right order. So this guy here, bit like Harrison Himmelberg, playing down the back, being pinch hitting in the forward line. So there is definitely options here to swing him both ways.
I think.
Plays for the Murray Bush Rangers, which, again, a very, very good system. Incredibly quick, really suits the Sam de Koning mold of a key forward that doesn't look right in it, but great pickup for them. And you know what? It's a pick in the right order, but I am surprised they didn't go a Leaky type if they were going to go down the back just for his ball use. But there it is, Sam de Koning, Connor O'Sullivan, the backman of Geelong, you presume now, for the next decade.
And I think that's how we had it in our mock draft last Friday. I think Geelong ended up with O'Sullivan, or we at least discussed it at length, because we talked about that. De Koning, O'Sullivan, and then a Jack Henry in there as well is a very good backline to build off. They do need and we've talked about this a bit, that we think Geelong need to act pretty quickly. They do need to address the front half, so an 8 caddy would have worked. But they must be pretty confident that they've got the guys, at least for this year. Maybe they're just going to play Paddy Dangerfield as a full forward for a couple of years.
It'll be interesting now because, GWS, this is a really intriguing pick now for me. GWS, what do they do? What do they do here? Because, Darcy Wilson is staring you in the face as probably another slider of where people were maybe anticipating him to go.
He feels like a GWS pick as well. He's like that sort of can do a bit of both player that they seem to always go for. But you're right. That leak is there for the taking. I mean, there's to be honest, there's plenty of players still available that are very delicious.
Probably the rookie draft, Briss. It'd be interesting what Sydney do. I mean, I agree. Darcy Wilson. I'm not surprised, no, because I'm surprised no one bit on Curtin, but the players that would, when we were talking about it, was North, Eagles, or Adelaide, who had the Arsenal probably to do it. So I'm not surprised because I don't think anyone else would and needed one that much. This GWS pick, though, Darcy Wilson gives me real vibes of Stephen Cornelio. And I feel it would allow them to play Stephen Cornelio at half forward full time and let Darcy Wilson play in the midfield.
Do we have a full draft board? Who am I missing that's been taken? O'Sullivan, Caddy, Reed.
You know what though? I'm gonna put a pom call. Jake Rogers gets bid on now.
Surely. Caleb Wins is the one I was missing. I was going to say that I've got a slightly older version of your draft board, Pom, and you've pretty much got all of the top ranked guys have been drafted on you, according to you, which is good.
That was my last mock draft. That one that you've got. I did have that was the one before I did the trade one, which was harder. Jordan Croft. I reckon Jordan Croft's bid will come around. I reckon Saints are going to bid on him.
Doesn't it have to? Aren't the Bulldogs the next pick? No, they're a bit later. I need the draft order in front of me. Oh, it's in front of my screen. You've got it. There we go.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, there has to be bids here. I like. I'm a big Darcy Wilson man. I think we snuck him to pick 13 in our mock draft, or he went to Melbourne in our mock draft last week, which I think could work. Makes sense at GWS. Leak's a good option. They won't go on Ollie Murphy, I don't think. But again, he's still floating thereabouts. I'd be just bidding.
Here we are. Phoenix Gothard. There is.
Whoa!
Big one. So 21st player on mine. GWS bidding on what they need.
Wow.
What is right. But the first real slider and riser. Fred Camporelli's next year. I'm having to get my sheet out here because
that's interesting, Pom. So he's your highest ranked outside of maybe Caden Cleary. He's your highest ranked New South Wales player. Maybe they wanted someone from the state. Maybe that added to it a bit.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because they don't really have much go home factor. They don't, but there's the bolter. But this guy can play small. It is worth noting this guy spent a lot of time on the wing as well.
Jed Walter just gave him Connor O'Sullivan just gave him his t-shirt because he didn't get invited as a selection. He came as a friend of O'Sullivan. That's what the TV just said. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, he wasn't invited to the first, but do you know what I mean? Can play higher up the ground at high half forward, but has made most of his time at the wing. Incredible with his vision. One thing that is noted, which is very similar to most players at GWS, is his ability to spot a pass and to spot things happening before they happen. So very interesting that they've added another creative player that is really in the purview. For those watching at home, I have spread that down now, so you should be able to see where we're up to and where the power rankings are. What I'll do is I'll move that up a little bit so we can always have a look at the last 10 picks. Look at this, eh? Tell me any other streams that has a live power board, unless we're in America.
I'm a little surprised by that pick. That's interesting. No bids. Sure. Is this a bid?
There he is, Colton Thulstrup, my boy.
Well, that's very interesting, Pom. That's very, very. I've got some messages to send.
Oh, people were telling Red Dog that he was an idiot for taking Colton. But the full straw, probably the biggest character in this draft. And if you were watching at the start of the stream, I said sometimes you've got to look at players and add something to your list. And I would say Melbourne have the most vanilla list ever in terms of personality. This guy comes in, adds a feel-good factor, a bit of excitement, and I love Colton. This guy stands out. X factor, his defensive pressure is very, very incredible as well. He's got that low flat kick, and I don't think Melbourne, when I look at them, I feel like they've always tried to find that Josh Dunkley type player, half forward, hitting up players with speed. They've got the inside help. They don't have the outside help. And I feel like they've addressed their concerns very well with Colton. They've got Caleb Windsor for the outside. They've got this guy who can play half forward and forward. Suddenly, the most bland team ever is in. And Demon Fancat, you've nailed the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great pick for them. Who did they take with their first pick?
Caleb Windsor.
Yeah, come on. That's beautiful.
Interesting.
Stuff.
Last player drafted with the same name as an American state and mythical bird. That would be a great question. I reckon this is going to open up trades, Ian. Few players sliding like...
Issa was drafted a few years ago.
Oh, yeah?
He was shit. As much as I liked him, he was shit.
Sydney, surely Ethan Reid bid here.
Come on, Sydney. Bid!
Come on, Kinnear. It goes faster now because the first 2 hours of this is the most expensive for advertising.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It is good news because my mate Collard is there. Yeah, Jake Rogers.
Hey! Now bid on Croft.
Now bid on everyone.
Bid on Croft. Bid on McCabe. There's Pommy. I know we're Carlton fans at heart, but there are like 5 or 6 names still on the board for guys that I really want, and like 10 to 12 names of guys I would happily take.
Right,
I think we're in a good spot, mate.
Spot on, but Collard is coming. But Jake Rogers, for those who watch my draft content, I love Jake Rogers. For me, the most underrated midfielder in this draft. Everyone goes on about size. Australia is the most stupid sport when commentating on this because they look at the height of someone and deduce if he's class. What I will say to you is look at Liberatore. He ain't the biggest guy. It's the fight in the lion. And this guy, little mongrel, can slide forward as well and kick snags. But more importantly, this guy is a competitor and he suits Gold Coast what they're lacking. To work with, in my opinion, the most lightweight hard man I've ever seen in the AFL, and that's Tuck Miller. And I mean that with niceness. He looks like the softest player you'll ever meet. You watch him play, he's a thug. He's hard. And Rogers is of that ilk. So I think that midfield there, Rogers, Anderson, Tuck Miller. Oh!
Well, I reckon... I think we're going to see Miller playing forward a lot more this year, by the way. I think they trialled it last year when he was injured. I think with the talent they're bringing in, I think he's going to get... they're going to use him a little bit differently next year. So, sell your Tuck Miller fantasy stocks, folks. That's my hot take.
Unless you're in Pafaffle because we kick snags. But, I mean, up next... Thank you very much, Tez, mate. First time we've hit over 400. Mental. We've been stuck at 350. We've had 4 records tonight, and then you sent everyone over here. So we went from 350 to 400. I reckon it's Lance Collard. But this pick here, Sydney, please be James Leake, because he's another one of my boys, and I like my boys to go to clubs that are vanilla enough for me not to be upset.
Yeah, looking at their list, the one thing we sort of harped on that they didn't achieve in the off season yet was that sort of general defender. They've got an aging sort of list profile in that spot on the ground. Obviously, Ollie Florence he's young, but your Blakeys and your Lloyds and stuff, they're not and your Rampies, etc. They're not as young. So League would make sense in that respect. If you're just looking at needs on the list, that's one of the few spots they're lacking in.
Spot on. If you can like and subscribe, make sure that happens. We're trying to get as close to 10k as we can. So that would be grouse. Cheers, Terry, for the love and support. Leak, yeah, I'm a big fan of Leak here for them. Like, a big fan. Lucinda, it's the worst when a player that I like goes to a club that I hate. So Sydney and these next 2 picks, I don't hate these clubs because my wife supports one, and Sydney, I admire what they do. So it would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice to have 2 players here that I admire. So the dream here for me is James Leake, Darcy Wilson.
I mean, yes, but also let's bid on Jordan Croft first, folks, please.
Well, there's a few left. I mean, hopefully they don't bid on Will McCabe because I want Hawthorn to do a POM.
Oh, yeah.
Much love, Kai, mate. Honestly, respect your work, mate. It's great to have met you. I hope
Oz Twanger, that's a great message. Punch like, do not dog POM. That's fantastic.
Don't dog the boys. It's going to be interesting with Darcy Wilson because if you watched the draft content earlier, I said that there's a lot of players that are similar, and he falls into that. Now, seeing Phoenix Gothard be bid that early says to me that the recruiters feel the same. So this is why I loved our picks, because I feel like every player that's left at that stage is the same type of player. It's choose your poison. So I feel like we're going to get a really good slider. Like if Lance Collard slips past North's ridiculous picks, I might get my clothes off. So
apparently, apparently Tholstrup was a big jump. Unexpected.
It was. So we've got Sydney, Saints, GWS, and then North. So we will get some confirmation of these as they come through. They're not popping up on the screen. So it's nice to know that Michael Ablett is my new guy. But this will be interesting what happens here because we'd expect now James Leake.
Jeez, everyone's happy for Gold Coast have done well here. Twitter is loving it.
You know what amazes me about this? How do we not have the bids ready?
No. It's
pick is in.
It's the AFL.
Pick is in.
Pick is in. Let's go. Give us something.
Lads, just send us a name.
Just tell us who. Come on.
Do you remember when they used to do this all at the front desk and they just used to like shout out?
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was about 5-6 years ago. And they'd be like, "Here, horse, who do you want?" And he'd be like,
"I'll bid, I'll bid." We've come a long way. It's just too bad they ruined it by putting it over 3 days.
I missed that. It was quicker, bro. Yes, says I'd be an idiot. I'd take.
They probably announce their picks, but the AFL just holds it.
So another bid, Jordan.
Hey! If they were truly bantering, they would then just trade out of this pick.
Oh, Jordan Croft, obviously, do you know what I mean? You would imagine at this stage that this is a fairly straightforward match. You never know, but you'd imagine the Dogs. He did take ages to nominate his.
I just feel bad for the Bulldogs getting a top 18 talent for the 4th year in a row for free. Just life's hard for the Bulldogs. So who did they draft in?
Why is that not working?
2020, they got gifted Jamara Ugle-Hagan because he trained with them for 5 minutes. In 2022, they got what year did they get Sam Darcy? Oh, 2021. And then this year they've got gifted what's his name? McCabe.
So now we've got 18, 19. Yeah, so I mean, they've got a load. Exactly. They've gone really tall, but McCabe, key forward. Obviously, do you know what I mean? We know these father-sons, they've been in the academy for a while, but incredibly good in the air, 200 centimetres, 81 kegs. You know, interesting little facet from him as well. And the media are going to pick up on this, but his last 4 games for Calder Cannons actually played like Nick Cox on the wing. Right?
Ooh, interesting.
So, did a bit of that as well. So that could be very interesting. Not saying that he will be a winger, but I'm saying that he's got incredible running ability. So one to watch out for Jordan Croft. But now we're going to have what? We've got Sydney on the clock, St Kilda, GWS, and North Melbourne. And Sydney, obviously, have got a kickback, I'd imagine now, for the...
I was just about to say that. I just seen Zane, who's a very good Sydney man, tweet out that the more bids that Sydney put in, it's actually that makes Caden Cleary cheaper because he gets moved down the draft order, which is an interesting little tidbit I hadn't thought about.
It does. It's tactical. It's tactical and nuanced. But look, someone's asked for a quick explanation. So, look, here we are. What we'll do is we'll put this here, right? So this is how it works. So let's say you bid on the first pick, right? It's usually 3,000. There is a 20% discount. So imagine this here is my NGA father-son Costco discount card. My debt suddenly becomes 2,400, right? 2,400. And then let's say, to make the maths easy, right, I own pick 10, right? So pick 10, its retail value is $13.95. And let's say I own pick 32. So pick 32 as well, right? And pick 32 is that figure there. Right. So that gives me 1974, right? That 1974. So I need 400 more picks, 400 more. So let's just say I get my pick 42 as well, which is that. And that should total.
It'd be pretty close.
What? 2,375. Right. Let's give it pick 41 to make it easier, less confusing.
Yeah,
well, that's that, right? So that is, let's just say it's that for argument's sake. What's the maths on that? 2,399. There we are. Right. So that would mean we'll make it easier. 421. So basically, what that would mean in the AFL world, these picks get deleted. I get pick 1. The team bidding get pick 2. There is a caveat. Let's say I had pick 33, right? And let's say that was 550 for the sake of maths, right? That's 2,529. So I am owed a pick worth 150. Hopefully that explains it. There is a video on my channel that explains the full thing, but a bid is in. Will Green, the ruckman, joins the Swans. So Will Green is Swanee. And we did talk about this, that rucks maybe something that they look at. And you can see here that Will Green was the 10th best player on my list left, and they have bid on him. So he becomes a Swanee.
He should be ready to play when Brody Grundy comes out of contract.
Oh, again, this is why we talked about teams with ruck needs. It's probably the time to look, because the two best ruckmen in the draft so far next year are tied to other clubs. Now, Will Green is 204.93 kegs. He's got incredible engine right in him. Very mobile, decent ruckcraft. But the big plus for me with this guy is he does look ready to play now. And I would say, though, the best ruckman in the draft, in my opinion, is Mitch Edwards as a pure ruckman.
Even ahead of Reed? Not Reed.
As a ruckman, yes. I think the best ruck total is Ethan Reed, because he can play forward and back. But I would say the best pure ruckman is this guy. The quickest one is Taylor Gold, with the biggest point of difference. And Will Green is probably the best safe pick. So for me, I think all the rucks have got 4. Do you know what I mean? 4 strong selling points. I like the Will Green one, though, because he does look like the kind of ruckman that would work well at Sydney.
Looking at St Kilda, they could probably use with a tall defender, which would lend itself towards a leak here. They don't need any insiders. Maybe a kind of pure forward if there's one available. But I would suggest isn't this going to be a leak pick?
Surely Darcy Wilson, though. This is the most soft thing to do.
Yeah. That is, you're right. Sorry, I forgot who we were talking about. Darcy Wilson is a sauce player.
Honestly, they said today, legit as well, just to let you know, these were Saucy's words, right, yesterday, where we need some outside run. So, welcome to the St Kilda Football Club. Darcy Wilson, same player you've got. But no, Darcy Wilson.
Fair,
he's a very
they don't have
player.
any outside run. They've only got Mason Wood, Wanganeen Malera, Brad Hill, Hunter Clark.
He's on the phone.
Liam Henry.
Bro, he's trading this.
Ooh. I wonder if he's trading with the Blue Boys. Just a little gift back to the Blues.
Well, you know what? St Kilda, GWS, North, Adelaide, right? So you'd imagine Adelaide are picking up Taylor Gold, right? Taylor Gold, right? So that knocks Taylor off, right? We're definitely getting... We are. Carlton's pick, if Harry Di Matteo, he's definitely not going to be there. Because there's what? 9 picks
1, 2,
from now.
3, 4. Yeah.
But you know what? Can I just throw a smoky in? Ollie Murphy.
Yeah.
I actually think they need a key position defender. When I look at their list...
they do.
I told you! He's trading it to his mates GWS!
He loves GWS. What's the deal? Give me a trade. GWS just tweeted, apparently we're pulling another surprise.
Yeah, this is... You can tell that this... Yeah, I agree with Tasmos. This is leak. So they have got 7... They've just traded 17 and 8. That is an unbelievable deal. St Kilda have got pick back and second.
Got a future second and pick 8. And interesting. To me, if GWS, why didn't you just take Leak with the first pick?
Can I just say this? People had a go at Daz, at Damo for moving a pick down for a future second. That was a better deal because I threw in my future second back.
Yeah.
So this is either if this is Darcy Wilson, though, GWS might have won the thing, but I think it's leaky.
There it is.
Great pick. Great pick.
There
So
it is.
Damesley, he's like all Tasmanian players that we see. Very, very quick, great vision, big booming kick, looks to take the game on. A big thing about Leake as well, and it hasn't been put up enough in the media, is he ain't shy as well of getting down and dirty. He really hits players hard, can play medium, can play on the taller guys as well, was deployed even at 187 on key position forwards a variety of times. But also, it's worth noting, did sneak up and kick goals late. So this is someone that I feel with GWS, they will turn him into, I hate comparisons, Lockie Whitfield.
Yeah, I can see that. And we know they've tried to get off his contract for a couple of years. Looking at their sort of general defenders, Whitfield, Iden, Haynes, who barely plays, coming. This is a relatively logical pick when you put it on paper.
I think it's overs, though.
I don't understand why you wouldn't take him with your first pick and trade in later to get Phoenix, because I mean, maybe I'm completely out of the loop, but I just don't think Phoenix is getting taken.
I'm with you. I don't think Phoenix was going to be taken until the 20s. And all the draft boards, the earliest was 24.
Ryan and Melissa Brooks say next year's draft is Charlotte. Yeah, but we hear that every single year, to be honest.
But I mean, it's interesting why they've taken Phoenix. I can't answer that.
It doesn't make sense to me.
But, I mean, the only thing I can think of is they caught wind Sydney were taking him.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
And that was the only way they could get in front of him.
Yeah. It's still very it's maybe they were. If it comes out that Sydney were going to take him, sure. But I'd be surprised if Sydney were going to take him, to be honest.
St Kilda. My brain is telling me Darcy Wilson, right?
Well, he's a younger Zach Fisher, so that would make sense.
My heart, my intuition is telling me Ollie Murphy.
Sandringham boy.
And the total St Kilda thing to do and Sauce thing to do here is take Harry Di Matteo, because people don't know this about Sauce. He likes tall, injured players, but he also likes players that have represented their country at other sports.
Oh, there you go. Sauce, what a man.
Faz.
I mean, Sauce just dominated that trade. We'll give him that.
Faz, mate, he's a little bit like Mavropanos down back. Try saying that drunk. Stewson, spot on. It's Lance Collard because Carlton won him.
Yeah, 100%.
So the next four
picks... Could you? Yeah, I was going to say, could you scroll down on the pick order for me? I just want to see.
Tell you what,
surely North are trading some of those picks.
Yeah, where? There you are.
And are Adelaide going to take 2 more picks?
You know what? Actually, Carlton Blues 22. The Gothard one is a real Sam Phil one, because he's gone. I've just looked. The consensus draft had him 25.
Which I think's early, if I'm being honest. But clearly I'm wrong, because he went 12.
No, the earliest they had him was 25 of all their people. So, interesting. I think it's the future second, Richard. I don't think that was needed.
Yeah, well, it was probably needed to get the deal done, but I just don't know why it doesn't matter. We'll find out, but I just don't know why you don't just take him at 12. Maybe they want to pay him less. All right, pick is in.
Darcy Wilson, finally.
Hey! He was one of my favorite players in the draft. Obviously not anymore, but...
Darcy Wilson's a good little pickup. You know what?
He is. He's a kind of a mid forward, not particularly tall hybrid player, which is 85% of St Kilda's list, so he'll fit right in.
Hey, he's just copied and pasted, really, let's be honest.
Legit.
I'm surprised it's taken this long for him to go. Another one of the players that maybe you could argue is a slider. Do you know what I mean?
I think so.
I think the future second, back to that, is mental. But now we're in a real interesting place here because North are here, right? North are probably looking at this draft board and going, how the fuck is Ollie Murphy there? When
I know.
So I would suspect they've got Zane Dursma, they've got Colby McGurcher. I would say these 3 picks of coming up are Ollie Murphy, right? Lance Collard, right? And I reckon that they will then, they go Archie Roberts. I reckon they add everything in 3 things.
They could potentially look at Archer Reed as well if they wanted to go that way. But I think Ollie Murphy being on the board for them. And you know what? Maybe they'll come out and they'll say, we didn't go Dan Curtin because we thought Ollie Murphy would be available at our late pick, which I think would be bullshit, them thinking that. But if this is the pick they take, then suddenly not getting Dan Curtin is not as big a disaster as we thought it was an hour ago.
Mate,
it's really exciting. If it works out and it goes this way, kudos to North.
You know what? It's going to be really interesting from just here, I think, now, because I feel like it's really, really opened up. Asking the question there about the St Kilda swap. The St Kilda swap, according to the website, is literally what we just discussed. It is 1 pick, but then they get their future second, which I think So the trade officially on the AFL website is St Kilda and GWS swap picks and get a future second.
Yeah, it's a good deal for. It's a really good deal for St Kilda. I don't remember us getting those sort of deals when Sauce was at the draft table. Pom, I seem to remember us giving up the future second to move up, but that's all right.
Mate, it is. Hey, Nathan, any spreadsheet help? Always appreciated, mate. But it's interesting. Now North are back on. They're taking their time. They have literally probably seen, because the draft board outside of that Gothard pick has kind of gone what everyone expected it to. Sydney were expected to pick up a ruckman at some stage. Was it that early? There was talk they were going to trade into 2, but this is interesting now because you would say that they're definitely going to go with a defender with one of them. Do they bite the bullet and get ahead of Collingwood for Logan Morris, who Collingwood have been heavily linked with? Real interesting one, but Darcy Wilson, he is officially a Saint. For those joining in, Darcy Wilson, Murray Bushrangers, plays at half forward, very similar to Philippo in that aspect, can be pinched. Massive engine on the young kid. Very light, but real interesting. He's for his size versus his box jump, it is actually voted highly athletic.
Pommy, where's Mitch Edwards going?
Well, you see, I've got him higher than most people, but I reckon Mitch Edwards preempted. Oh, yeah.
He can't be matched after 30, can he? At 30.
No, it's 40.
Because it's a pretend, not a real NGA, even though it's the same as the NGAs from the northern states.
You bet, yeah. Well, you're right. Will McCabe should be bid now, but no, like dog.
If you need to buy some time, McCabe's the bid. There's also Caden Cleary if you want to buy some time.
Caden Cleary.
It's in, Pom.
It is in. Why does my light keep going out?
I'm excited to see who people in chat think the best pick so far has been in terms of value. Why are North Melbourne wearing Carlton shirts?
I don't know, but someone made a comment that they've got red through. So they have bid on William McCabe.
That's good. Buy you some time. Now trade out of the pick. That's all I would do. I'd bid. I don't want it anymore. So I don't know if anyone cares, but in terms of players left from a super coach perspective that we're interested in, George Stevens still on the board. Massive super coach option. Probably goes in night 2. Ari Schoenmaker, huge super coach potential. And then Riley Hardiman is probably my 3rd ranked super coach option left on the table. And let's look at AFL fantasy for fun as well. George Stevens, Ari Schoenmaker. Yeah, it's a similar sort of guys. Mitch Edwards is up there for AFL fantasy.
I'll sort this back end off camera tomorrow, but there you are. So there we are. We expect them to bid. Yeah, they've bid. They've confirmed they are matching. But Will McCabe joins. Will McCabe, for me, very, very underrated. But those asking, Curtin, North have absolutely cooked it now. They are, absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. But yeah, Will McCabe joins Hawthorn after the bid is matched. Will McCabe, again, another player that's probably really underrated. The only South Australian inside the top 20, has to be said. But this kid here has been playing footy all his life and really impressing when he has done. His ability to intercept is really interesting, and he models his game on Sicily, and he's got massive vertical leap, but can break lines. And it's interesting for his state club, Central District, did play at high halfback in a kind of Blakey role. He wasn't just the pure key defender. So that's really interesting to think there that Hawthorn are going to teach him from probably one of the best players in the league in James Sicily. So he's going to get a real baptism of fire and really on his game. But superb player, and Hawthorn add another talent to their ever-growing young list.
Yeah, no, we love Hawthorn's list build, and I mean, obviously they were always going to get young Will, but he does kind of add to an area where they're not super strong. They've obviously got Sicily, Granger Barras, those sort of guys. Sam Frost is getting on, and James Blank is, he's still a bit of a, if you're lucky if he pops. So again, addresses needs. We've seen a lot of that in this draft so far, Pom. There's been, most of the picks have been, I would say, needs based, outside of probably North's early picks because they can just take the best available. But it feels like the talent has sort of lined up with what the clubs actually need this year, which is probably not accidental. They've probably addressed their list in season accordingly.
With the curtain slide, with the Gothard rise, it means that there's going to be some bargains. And Angus Hasty, you know what? Watch Geelong here at pick 36. They're going to be really happy that Hasty's there. I linked him with them, and he's a player that's gone in really undernoticed. Double Dummy asking one more pick. That pick swap, just by the way. So Hawthorn managed to get an extra pick, fill their list, and still nominate Chew Giaf, was probably my best list management in that, because I predicted what the other 2 list managers were going to do and got away with it. But that'll be interesting. But up next, we've got North Melbourne. They are on the clock after that bid. Then we have Adelaide, and then we have 2 North Melbourne bids, which means that we are...
It's blowing out, isn't it?
But great point from some of you in the chat. This should be all over and done with now. They should know what they want. And this is what annoys me, because if they bid on Caden Cleary here, AFL's corrupt, because how does it take you 5 minutes to bid on a player?
Well, it don't.
Right, let go.
It's the simple answer.
Just talk some smack. I quickly need a wee.
You go. All right, Pom's gone. Let's talk shit. How's everyone going in the chat? Kai Brooms pointed out that last bid has shifted so the Swans can match to pick 21, not pick 22, meaning if a bid comes in the next 2 picks, they after the next pick, they can match it, which is a good point. Brandon Stephen, North are already tanking. Good work. North Melbourne, the one against Sydney for infringement. That's very funny. I won't read out the rest of it. James Jimmy Faz says, "Sex dog, I love you. I love you too." Oh,
Picky's in. Well, you're getting love. Hey, I love that from that dog. I was waiting for him to go, let's get Pom cancelled and just start going.
Just get my dick out. Taylor Goad.
Taylor Goad. They've done the dirty on the Adelaide. And this is interesting because that pick now literally sets the precedent. Taylor Goad, honestly, one of my favourite players. I've talked him up a lot in this draft. Probably the only one of the ruckman with a massive point of difference, and that is lightning speed. This kid here is literally like an absolute... He is like Usain Bolt. I have never seen anyone this quick. So really check out this kid. If you watch his highlights, incredibly good player. He's really improved as well as the years gone on, but massive point of difference is the pace. And I reckon Mr. Clarko will be looking at this pick and going, Jesus, this is a wee bit exciting.
The next Todd Goldstein. Averaged 90 in 11 under-18 sample games for Supercoach, 61 for AFL Fantasy. Definitely a Supercoach prospect if you're playing your dynasty drafts. And, I mean, let's look at North's... where's North's list? Their ruck line currently is Tristan Cherry, Hamish Free, who I don't think is ever going to play, and that's about it. So adding in a developing ruckman, that makes sense. Would you have what talk to us about going a Goad over, say, a Mitch Edwards there?
Well, I mean, this is now where you start asking yourself the question, why is Mitch falling? Now, I've heard the talk about Mitch Edwards, and it's nothing bad. But I do think that they've been deceived by this. I do think this one here makes sense because Taylor Goad's got the point of difference. Now, the players you've mentioned here, as Free and stuff, they're natural ruckmen. They're going to take the development that you expect. So I feel that it makes sense, this one, that they probably need a point of difference. They've got the sense that they've got the normal people that they want. They probably want that X Factor ruckman. People
Matt Gandolfo, everyone is shuffling. Everyone is shuffling.
People asking what the colours are, just to remind everyone, they are their home teams. So what that does is it enables me not to have an extra screen. So Sandy Dragons, Peel Thunder, do you know what I mean? I can look at it and go, right, okay, I know who they play for. So it just jogs my memory. And I'm a stickler for it looking nice.
Kai Broom pointing out that now if a bid comes on Cleary, there will be no deficit for Sydney.
That is very interesting and good list management. Good list management by Kinnear. Now, Adelaide are on the clock. Now, the heavy talk is ruckman here. This now,
I hope
we
not.
are
I've
in
got
the
Kieran
round.
Strawn stocks.
This really now is you are in the purview of Mitch Edwards. It has to be Mitch Edwards at this point. The only other ruckman from memory is Vicente, or they may go Will Dawson, which it might be too early, but I do like that pick. But if they are going to ruckman, it has to be them two. It has to be them two if the talk is ruckman. But I think they may wait till next year for this.
I'd be looking at like an Ollie Murphy here. I don't love the backline of Mark Keane, Nick Murray, Jordan Butts, who are all pretty average. So you could look at Ollie Murphy if they want to look at South Australian players. I don't know. Who have they got?
Well,
there's not heaps left, is it? Ashton Moyer, Jack Deline. But yeah, we'll find out. I reckon you might be right though, Pom. I think it might be a big ruckman.
There he is, Charlie Edwards. So they've gone, for those who watched it, Charlie Edwards, the next Sloan. Very Sloan-like is Mr. Charlie Edwards. Great little pickup as well. This guy can find space where most people can't. Very, very accomplished footballer. Big thing about Charlie as well, being in the leadership group at school and at his local club for what feels like an eternity for Charlie. Can play down the back as well, has played up half forward, but incredible spatial awareness. His ability to hit traffic and break through traffic is pretty good. And he's a player that really suits a very talented young list. So Charlie Edwards, he joins Adelaide, and they've got some good players up at Adelaide now, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, if we look at the guys he's going to be sort of competing with over the next couple of years, Jordan Dawson, Rory Laird. Rory Laird's like 31 already, so he's getting on an age. Matt Crouch has just re-signed again. He's older. Sam Berry can't get in the side. Rory Sloane will retire soon. So he's probably, if you're projecting ahead and he hits that upside, he's probably already like amongst the guys who could be playing for rotation in that midfield. It depends what Adelaide are doing this year. Like if they're playing Rory Sloane as many games as they can because they think that's going to help them win, he obviously won't get a look in. But 1 year, 2 years down the line, this is a guy who could be a starting midfielder in a pretty good Adelaide team.
Mate, you would have thought so. I think you've nailed it. And I think they've gone. That's what I was saying about the rugs. I think Mitch Edwards, there is probably the risk there. WA to South Australia does have a low success rate. I feel like that they've gone with a guy there who is incredibly intelligent. I'm a big fan of Charlie Edwards. Do you know what I mean? He's a very good Paddy Dow, is the way I describe him. Very good Paddy Dow. But this now
other Carlton fans would just describe that as Paddy Dow, mate.
Richard, was McKercher a surprise at 2? No, I think there was a great argument that we talked about at the start of the show. You could argue that if you were building a list, he'd be pick 1. I think the only surprise there is they didn't bid on Jed Walters, but North do have a history of making sure they take the guy they prefer with their first pick historically. This is really interesting now. So for those on Carlton Watch, we are 6 picks away. North Melbourne are on the clock. Now, you'd expect the first one here to be Murphy, do you? Don't you think?
You would, but you know, we talked about every year there's one dude who just keeps falling and falling. Normally they're an inside mid, but for whatever reason this year, and I mean, I guess we're not that deep into the draft, but to me, Ollie Murphy still being on the board here is a win for North. And I would have taken him at 20. I guess again they were trying to get ahead of Adelaide with the gold pick, which is fair enough. But he seems the logical pick for a team that doesn't have a key backman.
Mate, I agree. You would think so. If North don't select Ollie Murphy, yeah, I agree. Who will count and select if Collard goes? Ooh, dear. Well, I mean, right now you would say that Carlton are going to have a very good selection because, do you know what I mean? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people before us. Even if you get rid of the first 5, that's pretty tasty. I feel like Carlton won't take a key defender with their first pick. They have no need. Do you know what I mean?
They have no absolutely need. Trolling.
Do you know what I mean? So,
mate, but knowing Nick Austin, he'll just pull some name out of the hat that we hadn't considered at all, and he'll come in and play 22 games next year.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've got a feeling Collard is there. Sneaky feeling. Got a feeling. Oh, Faz. I'll explain it, even though I know you're taking the piss. So the bid matches get added on. So an example is here. So that was North Melbourne. Gold Coast were bidded on their player. Gold Coast get that pick. North fall down. So, yeah.
I want someone to bid on Cleary.
Well, North Melbourne probably will.
All right, we got a selection.
Good pick. Will Dawson. So another bolter here for them. Will Dawson.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Will Dawson, we talked about quite a bit. For those who, he's been mentioned a few times. Just as a smoky that people aren't talking about, can play all around the ground, which really appeals to recruiters. And for North Melbourne, I feel like they've taken a lot of big players over the years that are very one-dimensional players. And I feel like this is an intelligent selection because there's probably about 8 positions they can play in.
So I know nothing about him. Can you tell me a bit about Will Dawson?
So Will Dawson, like I say, he can play just about everywhere on the park, but has been more of a key defender and then pinch hitting in the ruck, but also going forward. Big standout for him is just his understanding of how to use his size, which sounds a weird thing for Pom to say, but a lot of them don't realise they're 200 centimetres, 86 kegs. If you watch him, he can bully people and he's not scared to use it. Incredible tackle pressure as well in second and third efforts and strong aerially. So I see him here as one of them players that, do you remember, Mark Blitzarbs, who plays everywhere? I can see this being his type of game, that he's just going to be that plug and play player where he learns 5 roles and ultimately settles into the best position. But great key defender, and I reckon that's his future. I reckon it'll be a key defender who pinch hits in the ruck.
I'm not going to try and guess what they're doing with this next pick because I've been wrong the last 2 times.
Well, I mean, they've got the defender now, so they've obviously left Ollie Murphy. I think it was someone in the chat. There is rumours Ollie Murphy bombed his interview. So, I mean, it's weird because I've spoken to draftees who forgot where they lived in their interview. So, like,
they've still going to struggle this year for key defenders. Toby Pink, Griffin Logue's going to miss most of the year. They probably won't be able to play Will Dawson. They're still going to struggle anyway.
I reckon this is between Di Matteo and Collard, but then you could say, do they want to go like Riley Hardiman?
Oh, yeah. I mean, playing Sheasel off half-back, they brought Zach Fisher in. Presumably, he also plays there. But beyond that, they probably don't have much. Luke McDonald, I guess he's the captain, so he probably has to play right. But he's not particularly good or hasn't been good the last year or so. So that Hardiman could work. It certainly would fill a need.
It's an easier one to do, isn't it? Max, Archer. Archer Reed's a surprise here. Do you know what I mean? 203.94 kegs. Was very impressive for Gippsland. I think it's a real interesting argument. Logan Morris is the modern day forward, smaller, pushing up the ground. Archer Reed's the old school stay at home forward, a bit like in the shades of, like Ben Brown was meant to be. I would say if I was North, Archer Reed is preferred over Logan Morris because I feel like he's going to accompany Larkey a lot better because I think people forget Larkey's big, but he's very mobile. So he's Archer. So I think that's good. That's Red Foo next to Clarko.
Twitter is not happy with Will Dawson being compared to Asava Radaglia by Fox Footy.
To be fair, I compared him to a Mark Blitzarbs, which I think is a compliment.
Yeah, Mark Blitzarbs could do a bit of everything.
How the fuck have they taken 21 minutes since someone else bid?
Doesn't make sense. Anyway, Pies, Crows, St Kilda, Carlton, and that will be the end of your first round. I'm upset. I know you don't want to take him this early, but someone bid on Cleary. Just do it. Pick is in.
Yep, so we were right. Hardiman comes in. Great pickup for them. And a very, very accomplished footballer. And one that I feel like is the most obvious need for them. I feel like when you watch Clarkson, he loves them types of players that I think can contribute very early. We know he likes a counter-punch game, and Hardiman's that happy medium because he's very similar to Rory Laird type player.
Is he left-footed?
He is indeed. He can also kick with his right to an extent, but if you watch the highlight reels with old Riley Hardiman, you'll see that he's also very brave as well. And
we should have known.
Hits targets.
Clarko, if you're a left-footer and if you're a left-footed defender, Clarko loves you. It's 85% of the reason that they got Zach Fisher into the club. So I quite, from a fantasy perspective, I think there's some real upside in Hardiman playing senior footy this year and long-term having a solid role in that North Melbourne side.
Mate, I feel like he's a perfect little accompanier to there, and it's going to be interesting now because some of you are remembering the video I did with Swoop Luke. I said this is going to be the first question: which team bites on Collard? And for me now, Collingwood have to bite here. If they don't, I'm going to get very excited. But there is what 1, 2, 3, 4 picks left.
You're getting told how to excel in chat, Pom.
I can't delete the cell though because the others have got stats on them. That's why I'm doing it that way. But you are right. If I didn't have formulae in the back,
so
you might not want him. But Collard is so good. Like this is what I said on the Swoop Luke video. You've got to. It's too good. He's a Jamie Elliott replacement. You ain't finding a sure thing that quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep talking about Ollie Murphy. They could look at him, Darcy Moore, Nathan Murphy, Billy Frampton, and Charlie Dean, who's always injured, with an aging Jeremy Howe. There is an there. That's probably a slightly weak link if you're projecting forwards. But I think they probably like the excitement machine that Collard is.
The big thing for me, though, is like people will talk about Ollie Murphy, which fits a need, right? Because Nathan Murphy's always injured, right?
And Charlie Dean, yep.
Right, but I'll say this. Ollie Murphy ain't ready to play round one. And
oh, God, no. God, no.
It's depth. Depth you need. So, interesting one. I agree, Dark Masters. You'd imagine Adelaide pick up Mitch. 488 at the moment. So thank you so much for that. That is a world record. If we can hit 500, I might cry. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Good day to you, Rachel. How are you?
Is there an opportunity for a ruckman here to develop behind Darcy Cameron? Mason Cox ages out. Is there? I might be just clutching at straws here. It's hard to pick for a team, particularly one that wins the flag, because they don't have a lot of needs.
Mate, I agree with you. Dan, I've done it. I gave her 6 highs. Do you know what I mean? It was way too clingy.
I reckon, Pom, you're actually, there's so many people in the stream that all the bots are starting to come in to spam. That's how you know you've made it. When people are trying to give you away free Apple gift cards in chat, life's good.
Someone was trying to sell their OnlyFans on the stream a couple of weeks ago.
No, I didn't know we were allowed to publish that. I'll start advertising mine
Much
too.
love. Much love. Well, this is going to be interesting now. Collingwood have picked. I was going to say have picked a pick. Their pick is in. They've sacked off Riley Hardiman, who looked like he was a very good thing. Leg dog.
By the way, well, there's the Wookiee donates.
With the 80, we love you. And Caden Cleary has been bid on by Collingwood, as we predicted in that video. Were they attractive? I don't know. It's hard to tell on here, but I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were beautiful people. But Collingwood do put the bid in, which means Sydney are going to match. Caden Cleary. Let's get talking about Caden Cleary early, I reckon. Caden Cleary, he is a very exciting talent and one I feel like that the AFL media has slept on. So there's a few clubs in the league I feel like who get forgotten about in these situations. And Sydney's academy is the least talked about, but probably the highest percentile to work out all the time. You know that this guy is going to do it. Much love, Kai. Thank you for sticking around. Big thanks to Ugur as well with the $80 donation. We love you, my brother. But Caden McCleary, he is a guy that slots in straight away. Powerful runner. He gives me Bontempelli vibes, even though he's 182.79. He's got some of them Bontempelli magic about him. He's big, he's tough, he finds the ball, he's got an elite running, he can kick ass and hit the scoreboard. I think this guy here, top 20 when we redo this draft.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this throughout the week, Pom, particularly once I sort of dived into Cleary's numbers. Some of the, not flack, because we said that Sydney needed to address, probably get in one inside midfielder in the off-season, and they got in Taylor Adams. And I thought, he's a bit on the older side, he's a bit on the more injury-prone side. Is that the guy you want to hang your hat on? Well, it probably is when you've got Caden Cleary coming in for free, isn't it? Because he can come in, develop into that role, and I mean, if he puts up his junior numbers at senior level or even something close to it, I mean, laughing.
Mate, spot on. Like, we're going to see, I think now, what we're going to see is we're going to see Sydney really showcase their ability here to list manage, because we're going to see Taylor Adams protect this guy in training. And he's a guy who's very clever. Very clever.
So looks like, oh no, it hasn't come in yet.
Bids matched, it's saying.
Yeah, match quicker. We know they're matching. They're going to give up pick 43 and 47. What are we worried about? Move on.
We'll only use two picks, but you'll only use one tonight. It finishes at Carlton.
The worst part about the split night thing is when you have a pick early on the second night, and then it gets to the draft time, and you've actually traded away during the day, and you go, "Oh, that sucks."
Darkmaster, fucking the Ashes was quicker than this. If you are one of the 492 people watching, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. That really helps the channel out. That's the bread and butter of this channel. So, Sydney have matched officially.
There we go.
Evidently, we have to announce that. Collingwood now will go back on the clock and have another 5 minutes. So they took 3 minutes, 28 seconds to do the first one. They now take it. But Caden Cleary, proper inside ball. Great little player. Great pick up this. Makes sense that Collingwood bid on him. And now over to Collingwood, who have got big decisions here. Lance Collard there. Archie Roberts is there. I like the Archie Roberts pick for them. I've got a feeling, though, that they can't turn him down here. Lance Collard.
Yeah. And like
500!
Hey!
Hey!
Do a nudie run.
Get naked, you coward.
There's more people watching this than they're watching on the AFL app. I'll tell you that much for free.
Do you know what I mean? But 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Do you know what I mean? 4 minutes on the bid. It's going to be very interesting what they do.
Oh. Shout out to Sarah for donating $20 to the Movember campaign. I assume, Sarah, you are in the chat because I literally just dropped it. So, God bless you.
Well done, Sarah. You are an angel, my lovely. An angel. So 3 minutes 20. Faz is saying they'll trade it. I know you've got a lot of smalls, but you haven't got a small this good.
Like they've got a few good smalls.
Like Collard, Di Matteo, these are different. These are different gravy. Different gravy. Different gravy. Like I'm telling you, he was that good. Like honestly, this is a Dan Curtin regret that he's where we are now.
There's I mean, it happens every year, isn't it? There's some good like, I'm excited as a Carlton fan to see what we do because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like, still 7 or 8 guys I would love to have at the club. Love to have at the club.
Yeah, but I think you could still get a key forward, Kobe. Do you know what I mean? I think you could get a key forward with your next pick. I would guarantee Archer Reed or Logan Morris is there because the teams that have been linked with Logan Morris have no longer been there. I think it's a calculated risk because Carlton won't take him, right? We won't take a key forward.
No.
St Kilda won't take a key forward. Adelaide won't take a key forward. Eagles, Oscar Allen, they've got youth there. Brisbane will take one. Geelong have got theirs sorted. Gold Coast don't have a pick. St Kilda won't take a key forward. We won't take a key forward. Richmond is your problem. They may do, but I think they'd be more likely to take Archer Reed than Logan Morris, right? Geelong won't because they've already got one, and then you've got him. So I think it's a calculated risk because Lance Collard's that good. Much love, Max. It's not our fault. If it was up to me, I'd tell them that they have 5 minutes.
100%. 100%. I'm excited to see. I'm assuming it'll be tomorrow night where George Stevens goes. I think he's one of those guys that he's an accumulator, which traditionally they seem to dip down the draft, and sometimes they actually end up getting to the rookie draft. I don't know that that's the case for him, but it can happen.
You know what? If I was Collingwood and I took Lance Collard here, I'd be taking Brodie McLaughlin in the rookie draft.
Okay. I'm trying to find Brodie's numbers, and I have no idea where he is on my sheet.
You know the Gold Coast guy
who
got delisted? Who was the leading goal kicker?
Sorry, bro. Yes, that Brodie McLaughlin. Yes, I'm think just taking
the rookie draft.
There's this. People get tarred when they come in as like a mid-season or a pre-season or an SSP and get delisted. They just don't seem to get back on lists. But I'd be looking at him for sure.
Harry Di Mattia.
I believe you took him in the draft on Friday for Collingwood.
I did. I think he was also one of the guys we talked about on Swoop Luke's show. But he joined the club, and like you say, a mid-small, he comes in there. Lance Collard. They're fucking dangling the carrot, ladies and gentlemen. They're dangling it. But let's talk about Harry. This guy is elite. Elite Harry at 2 Sports, which you need to put that into perspective. It's incredibly hard to be good at 1, right? Very, very, very hard to be good at 2. But Harry, he combines his competitiveness. He suits a fly game. Incredibly strong at tackling. He's got a natural leadership. He's captain not only his school cricket team, his local cricket team, but he's also been in the Dandenong Stingrays leadership group. Incredibly strong with his tackles, his speed. But a big thing here is his ability to pinch it in the midfield and then go up forward and act as that half forward. Very, very dangerous player, and one that I feel like slots in to the Collingwood mantra.
102 Supercoach average across 10 games, 85 AFL fantasy, a little bit worse in the under-18 champs. I've read a couple of books that talk. One's called Range. It's a good book, but it talks about basically the upside of being an athlete who plays multiple sports versus one who plays just one sport. And often the mercurial players played multiple sports. And I'm not suggesting he's mercurial, but he could be. I think there's benefits having been in other environments.
I think he is a beautiful human being in the terms of as well that he suits the culture. He's got personality, cheeky chappy. I think that's a really big part of it. And I think people forget about that. But this kid can play ball and he's a fly type player. You know, when people are saying Sauce tweeted he wants Collard, I'm guessing you're taking the piss because there's no way that Sauce has Twitter.
No, surely not. I will do some Googling on the side.
Like, there's no way Stephen Silvani has created a Twitter account and said, "You're right, lads. How you doing? I want Collard." And if he is, that's me and him done.
Saintly _FC is talking about Collard on Twitter. I don't know. I can't see nothing. It does. Oh, he could go just before us. That'd be heartbreaking for you, Pom.
You know what? If he goes to St Kilda, I don't care because Ashton's there.
True. Is Ashton going to get past Adelaide?
Yeah. Okay. He will do. Carlos, I've mentioned Ashton. There's a video on here, Blue Abroad, multiple videos on here. Ashton's been covered on this channel since June.
Since the dawn of mankind.
Ashton, yeah, he's an elite player, can kick with both feet. Real Eddie Betts vibes about what he can do when the ball hits the deck. A little bit taller than the average bear, so he can really like working that high up the ground. So he's probably a very more offensive Durden, which we haven't quite seen what Durden does in that avenue. But this guy here is a natural finisher. So obviously we're going to get more if Adelaide don't take him. Worst case scenario is Ashton Moore now, Lance Collard next, and then I'm going to retire. Forgive me, Carlos. Yeah, it's just because he's not a top 20 player. So we haven't really got to where I'd be excited. But I don't think Crows take Ashton Moore. I think they take Edwards. The more pocket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
40 seconds, lads.
It's getting exciting. Getting exciting. We'll know in 30 seconds if Pom's getting one of his boys.
I am blocking Nick Austin if more Lance Collard are there.
Call him live. Get him live.
And Mitch Edwards, and he takes someone random.
Hang on, I'm going to randomly pick out. He's going to take Tarkin O'Leary.
So this has got to be Mitch Edwards, surely.
You'd think so. Bad news for my boy Kieran Strawn, but you'd think so. They need another ruckman.
Lads, take a pick. Graham. Did he just say this is the longest first round we've seen for a very long time?
He just said he hasn't seen a first round this deep, that long. That's because the rules keep changing. The first round should only be 18 picks.
That's because we've been here since 1965. When we started this stream, we used to sing God Save the Queen in England.
Yeah. And we were talking about Queen Elizabeth I.
What have I done there? And I was on about Queen Victoria. God bless. Right, there we are. So
it's a farce that the first round is going to be 28 picks long. It's like in a sport where there's 18 teams and you all get one pick for the first round at the end of the season, and we're going to be 28 picks in, and it's still going to be the first round.
You know what no one's talking about as well is there's hardly any picks by this stage now tomorrow.
The first round's going to be longer than the rest of the draft combined. Because if we get to... They're projecting, about 55, 56 live picks. 28 of them are in the first round, Pom. What are we doing?
Yeah, and tomorrow they do this. They basically bid like this. West Coast select this guy. West Coast. But Will Graham. Will Graham's a guy that we haven't talked about enough, and we have covered him on this show, but Jake Rogers, big inside bull. This guy here, a little bit more slight, 186. Big things to notice about this guy is he's got elite 20-meter sprint, but also third in Australia for his standing and running vertical jump. This guy jumps like a kangaroo, but he's also got the speed. Very strong through the core, very good with his contested work, very clean. Can play down the back at halfback, but also play on the ball. And if you're looking at a Tuck Miller replacement, this guy's probably it. He's got a lot of Tuck Miller in his versatility. So he is one. Carlton will pick. We are 2 picks time. Adelaide will have another crack at this. Then St Kilda will have a crack. Then it's us. And then we go home to bed.
The Laughing Magpie suggests maybe we take Dylan Viojo Rainbow. I've seen our second Josh Bootsma reference with someone who has Josh Bootsma as
he does.
picture.
Dynamic Hypnotic. G'day to you, kidder.
We're just about to get to our first pick. Hypnotic.
If you want a timestamp, we are 13 minutes 34 away from our pick, give or take, filler.
I know it's very confusing because we have a pick in the first round and we're currently at pick 27 and we haven't taken our pick, but believe me, our pick's coming.
Oh, what a night. Okay. This, honestly, you know what? I need to, what time was my draft along last year? I'm sure it was 2 hours.
It wasn't this.
Hey, I'm having fun though, chat, and thank you so much. We've been at 500 for about an hour, so much love. Make sure you like and subscribe. Surely Adelaide have wasted time. How have Adelaide not got the pick in hand? Why do they get 5 more minutes? That's what I don't understand. They should get 2 minutes max after bidding because you've already understand it. Do you know what I mean? You already know what you're picking.
Yeah.
Why 5 minutes?
It's silly. We follow a very silly organization of a semi-professional sport. They just make things up as it goes along, and they don't tend to think about the repercussions of decisions they make.
Lou, spot on. Thank you very much, sirs. Paul, it goes on for a while. Greta, is she 30 years old, Greta Thunberg?
Well, that's how long we've been in the draft for, Pom.
I was going to say, fuck you. Is she really, though? Thank you very much, Sapphire Blue. I'm glad I've entertained you on your way home.
2-hour drive home with an hour to spare on the stream. Beautiful.
Is she really 30?
No.
That is mental. I thought she was like 22.
No, she's like 19.
Oh, I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22.
Yeah, she's 20. I think they just
it was a joke. It's gone over Pom's head. Thank you very much, Bryon.
Well, Clem Smith is a throwback. That is a throwback. Wowee.
Picks in, lads.
Oh,
lads.
Everyone. Pom's about to get really excited or really worried. I do love the lads eyeballing the camera.
Oscar Ryan. Wow.
Okay. Oscar Ryan, Pom.
So there he is, the little halfback. So we had him 56th left on our chart. So that is interesting. And amazingly, as it's happened, he keeps staying, chat. Collard keeps staying. So this could be very interesting for Carlton. But Oscar Ryan, on the first night of the draft, another early pick. And this guy here is a very, very stable footballer who has played a very solid back end of the year, incredibly hard at it. Do you know what I mean? Very hard at it, which is really impressive. Plays off halfback, a good country boy as well, playing for Vic Country, and plays a bit of soccer as well. So that's really interesting for you lot at home. Bit of a soccer background means he's got great spatial awareness, and genuinely has a pretty good understanding of where he is. But this will be an interesting one for him. They've gone early on him. They've obviously seen something in him. His physicality probably appeals and his speed, but it's interesting that they've really bolstered that half-back line, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly comment from a fantasy perspective because that's kind of why I watched the draft. Supercoach 110, AFL Fantasy 94. Half-back role is the second most ideal role for fantasy. Inside mid, then half-back. So if he's going to be someone who plays early, he's going to be huge value. And looking at their half-back line, Pom, I mean, they probably don't want to play Jordan Dawson or Rory Laird behind the ball, which they have had to resort to a couple of times lately. They probably want to keep them around the middle, which they are sort of limited in who they have running through the halfback. Brodie Smith is obviously a massive kick, but Wayne Miller, he's good when he's playing. Mitch Hinge, he's good when he's playing, but they're not always playing, and that's the issue. So, yeah, again, probably a little early, but no harm, no foul. And he projects, just because of the role he plays, as someone who can contribute at senior level.
Mate, spot on. And he's going to be definitely one of them ones to watch with Collingwood, with Adelaide, because they have been giving kids a chance. We are coming up to the St Kilda pick. Someone asking what Collard does. Small forward. Player that he's similar to. Probably in the league at the moment, probably someone like... Well, he's very Eddie Betts, I've got to say. The way he plays. He's that lurker out the back. Kicks big goals. Big games, big goals. Collard
reads the fall of the ball pretty well.
Comes as well from an NGA, which, again, real big plus. But, the big thing from him as well, he loves a running bounce. He's got real speed about him. In that ilk of Bobby Hill, players like that, Dan Butler. So a real X-Factor player, and one that I feel like I just don't see why Saints need him. They've picked 4 of them.
It doesn't... Yeah, I don't know. Other than Sauce knowing that we probably want him. It's probably the main reason. I'm just looking through. Still a couple of good names. Pom, I think you're getting one of your boys.
Pollard's gone. Cheers, Sauce. I wish you nothing but misery for the rest of the season. Oh, Collard. Pure forward that kick snags. X-Factor finish. And the ability really to change games. And he is that type of player, the modern day forward that kicks a lot of snags. And it's going to be interesting. I wish him the best of work. They're saying about Charlie Cameron, that's a big call, but he is a very good player. And great pickup for them. And basically, St Kilda have had the same draft strategy this year as they have had for the last 30 years. Interesting.
29 picks. 29 picks in the first round. I'm not really sure where Collard fits into that St Kilda lineup straight away. He probably isn't going to play straight away. Butler, Higgins, Philippou. They got Houghton, who hadn't played yet, or hadn't played much yet. Can't remember if he had a sub game or not. They got about 800 average tall forwards as well down at St Kilda.
Well, I mean, it'd be weird because people are saying Shaun Maker. Shaun Maker is basically the same player that you picked in Cowan. So that would be the lowest need because we already have too many players who play that type. So you've got to say here, Cowan are looking at Moore, Archie Roberts, Lowell. Like, it's got to be one of them players that's a point of difference. Do you know what I mean? Because they are literally like Shaun Maker is probably the only one of the next 10 players possibly picked. We have 1,000 of. We have too many of them.
Mate, so what if they look at their list and go, Marchbank injury prone, young shit, Durden injury prone. Maybe we'll get some keepers, developing key position defender.
If I was a betting man, I think it'd be Ashton Moore here.
Yeah, well, I mean, that matches the sort of moves we've made in the off-season, right? With the guys that we've acquired that can go through the midfield and
It's
the forward
interesting.
line.
Champ Starter's got us the 16th worst general forwards, 11th wing, 11 midfield, 11 ruck. So we've picked... It's Ashton! Get in! And he wins too! And he wins too! Welcome to the club, Ashton!
Very
Honestly,
exciting,
would have done
Pommy.
really well there because a lot of draft boards had us taking Ari Schoenmaker, which would have been a disaster. List would have been finished. Ashton's here!
Beautiful
Oh!
stuff. Pommy. Beautiful stuff.
Tell you what, new favourite player, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about him a lot, and that is the third straight year that I've nailed Carlton's picks. But Ashton Moore, pure small forward, and my issue with our team is we don't kick goals. We don't kick goals from the forward half. We've got loads of players that are fucking boring. This guy, he ain't boring. All he cares about is goals. And you bring me Mitch Edwards now with the next pick. Pack your bags, fellas. Wall's over.
And he can kick, Pom, which is nice. He can kick.
With both feet.
Yeah.
Both feet. Ashton! Ashton in us. Get him. Get him. Hey, I'm happy with that.
Pommy, what's over-under games played for the seniors this year? What's the line, you reckon?
9.
He's got some tough competition in that forward line.
9.
So he'll play a few.
But definitely for me, he's got that ability. So do you know what I mean? For those who, Tim, to answer your question, as someone who's actually seen him play, not just Red Cow Toomey's work, regardless of his size, you watch him play, he's got an uncanny ability to play small and tall. So at 188, his ability, he'll be probably the best player in our team at ground balls already because he's played that pure small pocket position, moving back to the conduit position. If you look at how Voss plays, Voss likes Corey Durden to play that role high half forward, right? Do you know what I mean? And we've hated it. Ashton is natural to do that. Very strong in the air. His ability to kick from both pockets. Spot on, Anthony. And for those who have watched my content, Bailey Fritsch has been the player that I've said we need. He is it. Ashton Moore, Carlton Football Club.
Matt
Winning
Turner.
the flags, baby!
Matt Turner from Super Footy reporting that Eagles wanted more Moya with their next pick.
Yeah, unlucky, Eagles. Hey, unlucky. Should have traded fucking Ali Reid to us.
Yeah.
But no, serious. So, chat, that is us done for the night. 550 of you, a company record, $80 in donations.
Phew!
3 hours 20. I'm surprised with more, not really. We've talked about it for 6 months, me and Terry, on that show, so worst kept secret. But we'll come back tomorrow. Carlton are heavily involved. We've probably got about, 20 more picks? 25 more picks? 26? So that should be interesting. Check him out, though. Welcome him to the club. I love you all. Thank you very much. 550. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be so long, but if you do, stick around. See you all later.